French Canadian player of all time. Jean Beliveau's right up there, but he was the guy. It must have been incredible coming in with the Penguins back in the day.
Well, it was, and Reed and I were talking earlier. It was special. 2 games were special when I was playing in Toronto and playing in Montreal. In Montreal, just the walk to the rink and talking to all the fans, and the fact that, with the language barrier, you had the French kids out there waiting there for your autograph and listening to the sounds in the rink. And when I first came in the league, there'd be smoke in there because everyone could smoke. And at that point, it seemed like everyone in Quebec was smoking. So it was all exciting being there in Montreal. And then when I skated on the ice, I skated on with the greatest French-Canadian hockey player in history. So, and those fans, he wasn't an opposition player that you would boo. The place went crazy when Mario stepped on the ice. Even though we were the opposition, they cheered for him. So, incredible moments playing in Montreal in my career and being a part of a line that had a fan favorite on an opposing rink. So yeah, there are certain games that are special. Playing in Montreal is certainly near the top of the list.
Well, the Canadiens are down 2 top 6 players for sure in terms of Kirby Dach, who they haven't had all season. Josh Anderson now out of the lineup as well. And then I'd say Dvorak and Pearson at this stage in their career are probably third liners. So they're down some significant, but I think the Oilers are going to miss Ryan McLeod a bit. His speed transporting the puck, especially playing with Draisaitl.
Yeah, they're gonna miss him. But I mean, let's be honest, they're missing McLeod, and the Canadiens are missing 4 or 5 players. The Oilers are missing McLeod. They still got Connor and Leon. This is a game. The Oilers are at the point right now that every game they go into, they don't have to look at the opposition. They look at how they play. When the Oilers play with the effort that they need and have the interest and emotion in the game, they will be the better team. McLeod, if we're playing a 7-game series against Las Vegas, you want McLeod in the lineup. On a Saturday night in Montreal, the Oilers have more than enough to win this hockey game. The Montreal Mountain Blau's got to be incredible in this hockey game to give them an opportunity to win this hockey game. So, yeah, McLeod out of the lineup, I don't think hurts the Edmonton Oilers near as much as what Montreal has out of their lineup. And the Edmonton Oilers right now, the way they're playing, if they go out there and play the way they're capable of playing, they have the advantage in this hockey team. They're the better hockey club.
Let's go to Ford. Keys to the Game, brought to you by Ford, the official partner of your Edmonton Oilers. Built Ford proud. Rob?
Well, obviously, you want to come with emotion in this game. You want to come with intensity. Sometimes there's fear at the end of a road trip that it lags a bit because you know you're going home, but this is Montreal on a Saturday night, so I have no fear about that. And throw in the fact that it's the best player in the world's birthday, I expect the Edmonton Oilers to have a wonderful game. So tonight, the biggest key is to play with emotion, and I have no fear or no thought that won't happen. This is a game the Edmonton Oilers, I believe, are going to have jump right from the very start.
That is our Inside the Game analyst, Rob Brown. That wraps up Rogers Game Night. Jack Michaels will have the call up next. From the Bell Center, the Oilers and the Canadiens on Saturday night on Ford Dealers NHL Hockey on the Oilers Radio Network.
Be a savvy Edmonton hotel shopper. Book through edmontonsbesthotels.com and receive up to $225 in cash rewards. There are over 50 member hotels to choose from offering their best value rates. edmontonsbesthotels.com. Rewards with every booking.
When the Oilers are on the ice, the big hits are a part of the game. But they shouldn't be a part of your drive. If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown & Associates and their over 200 years of combined injury law experience help you. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oiler fans, James H. Brown & Associates is ready to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already. Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so furnace-y, building your legacy. With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
It takes some courage to get out there and travel. You never know if your bags might mysteriously vanish, or if that guacamole is going to come back to haunt you, or if the plane just never takes off in the first place. But through it all, you have a partner in Alberta Blue Cross. Our travel insurance lets you take the security of home with you, wherever you go. Whatever life brings, be ready for it. Find travel insurance today at ab.bluecross.ca.
Be a savvy Edmonton hotel shopper. Book through edmontonsbesthotels.com and receive up to $225 in cash rewards. There are over 50 member hotels to choose from offering their best value rates. edmontonsbesthotels.com. Rewards with every booking.
Exclusive NHL broadcast.
There he shoots and scores. Now it's Draisaitl off to Connor McDavid. Centers Kane for the hat trick. He scores.
All the action called by the voices who know the game inside and out.
This crowd explodes.
Bob Stauffer and Jack Michaels on the Oilers Radio Network.
Two team records on the line tonight at the Bell Center in Montreal. Good evening, everyone. Alongside Bob Stauffer, I'm Jack Michaels with the play-by-play of this one. Edmonton, 9 straight wins, a victory tonight, and it's a club record. Not even the 80s teams won 10 in a row. The Oilers 22-15-1. Montreal just 8 wins in regulation all season long, 17-18-6. But you only have to dial it back about 11 months. Edmonton came in here, turned in a sleeping performance on a Super Bowl Sunday, beaten 6-2. Chris Knobloch will start Leon Draisaitl opposite Warren Fogle and Evander Kane defensively, Brett Kulak and Vinny Desharnais. Stuart Skinner looks for his 7th straight win. The Oilers have won 7 straight. A win tonight would tie a club record in that department as well, achieved only by the 86-87 edition. We're underway, and it's an early turnover for David Savard. Pouring over the line, Fogle, Kane to Draisaitl. One-timer, Vinny Desharnais, and that's caught cleanly by 27-year-old starting goaltender for the Montreal Canadiens, Sam Montembeault. Skinner, by the way, has won 13 of 15. Has played to a save percentage of 93, 17-9, and 1 on the year, among the league leaders in wins. Your starting lineup brought to you by our friends at Coventry Homes. Flexibility within reach. Get back in the game with customizable designs by Coventry, the official builder of the Edmonton Oilers. Bob, Saturday night in Montreal, and the man who turned 27 today on the ice for the first time, Captain Connor McDavid, though he's waved out of the circle. That's not very nice.
No.
Ryan Daisy giving him a little grief, and he's thinking about chasing Nugent Hopkins out of there. No, he's going to instead insist that Sean Monahan depart. Well, Monahan probably didn't want to square up with Nugent Hopkins again.
No.
Face-off win for Nick Suzuki, and we're back underway as the Canadiens clear the puck back towards center. I mentioned Daisy, linesman Matt McPherson joins him. Referees Francis Chiron and Corey Sivret. And with that, Mike Matheson, arguably the Canadiens' MVP thus far on the season, will shoot it in. Nugent Hopkins with a trip on the right half wall, and we're going to have an early penalty whistled against Edmonton. McDavid touches up against Juraj Slafkovsky, the first overall pick back in 2022, and it's the Canadiens with an opportunity at an early power play. But this is where Edmonton has been excellent. The Oilers have killed 19 in a row, and their penalty kill has surged into the top 12. Montreal's coming off a couple of losses, Bob. They haven't played well lately, 2-5-1 in their last 8.
Well, Leon Draisaitl is going to replace Nugent Hopkins, who, of course, would be out with Derek Ryan here. And it's going to be Nurse and Ceci on defense.
Ryan will take the face-off against Sean Monahan and beaten cleanly off it. Matheson steps up. A dart to Suzuki. A wrist shot from the Montreal captain, and that was blocked by Darnell Nurse. They say Suzuki rounding out the corners of his game, better defensively, better in the face-off circle. Montreal's a top 5 offensive face-off zone team and top 5 in the league. Suzuki over to Caulfield, who's been mired in some real streaky patches in terms of goal scoring. Suzuki curled it back to Monahan off balance, fell down, got it back to Suzuki, who leads the Canadiens with 12 goals. No other team leader in the NHL has fewer. Draisaitl breaks up a loose puck, and then Caulfield fell down. It was sitting there for him, and he couldn't find it. Cole Caulfield won a battle, though, to create for Slavkovsky, and now you've got Suzuki stepping up right circle for the Canadiens. They're in the familiar red sweaters, white numerals, blue pants. Suzuki dishing. Caulfield shoots and scores. And the Canadiens get a power play goal at 1:43, and Cole Caulfield, his 12th. It has not been the easiest season for Caulfield. Twice he's gone through 12-game stretches with only one goal, but here he converts off a brilliant cross-seamer from Suzuki.
The Oilers could never get to any loose pucks. There were 3 chances to make plays, and they couldn't get the puck out of their own zone. And you mentioned the one statistical category that Montreal's better than Edmonton in, face-offs. And Derek Ryan, a right shot, lost the draw to Monahan. And
Plainly.
And the Oilers never got it out.
Time 1:43. Caulfield from Suzuki. Canadiens' last outing was a 3-2 loss to San Jose on Thursday. It snapped a 12-game losing streak for the Sharks, and no one around the Montreal hockey team was impressed with the performance. Matheson, a shot toward the net, and that pinballed around before being cleared by Nugent-Hopkins. Did not get it cleanly up the ice, and it's flipped back in by Jake Evans. Controlled by McDavid. Give Matheson, by the way, a second assist on the scoring play. Nugent-Hopkins, a shot from the blue line, easily flicked aside by Montembeault, who started and lost that game to San Jose.
The Oilers have had 4 or 5 chances to make some plays here, and they haven't been able to do it.
And an offside, and right now just a bit of a ragged start. And Bob, I mean, look, it's way too early to start making too many comparisons, but for an Edmonton club that's traditionally been very good in this building over the last 20 years, this is 2 straight where they're not off to great starts.
Nope.
Suzuki and Matheson with the helpers on Caulfield's 12th. It's a power play goal for the Canadiens and snaps a streak of 17 in a row for the Oilers over the last 5 games.
Kemp is playing forward here.
Phil Kemp making his National Hockey League debut, and an offside whistled against Montreal coming in over the line. Phil Kemp, a 7th-round pick, like Vinny Desharnais. That means they've got back-to-back 7th-rounders in 16 and 17 in the lineup. 164 games in the American Hockey League after a standout career at Yale. And Bob, you and I were impressed with him throughout the preseason.
Yeah, I mean, he does what he does. He's a shutdown defensive defenseman. I didn't think we'd see him at forward, but the Oilers are playing 11-7, and I guess they're playing 12-6.
Kemp getting a shift at forward here, wired down the right-hand side by Vinny Desharnais, and that will lead to an icing call. Kemp, the book on him is his stride isn't the prettiest, but he gets where he needs to be. He's an extremely popular player down in Bakersfield. Good captain, you know, a hard-nosed type of guy. And then because you're saying he's playing forward, Bob, I don't know how much shot blocking and all the other intangibles he brings.
And we'll mention Sam Gagner is just not quite ready to go yet here.
Vinny Desharnais checked into the corner. Gagner got banged up as he helped lead a comeback in New Jersey and has not been available to go. So Kovacevic, after an Edmonton clear, will give way to Jordan Harris, one of 2 Northeastern products on the Canadiens' blue line. Of their top 8, they've got 5 guys who are 23 or younger on the blue line. A dump in and Stuart Skinner to handle it for Edmonton. Pizzetta got a piece of it. Matthias Janmark playing with Ryan and Connor Brown clears to center. Ryan stymied initially by Struble, the other half of that Northeastern Husky tandem in the Canadiens lineup today. Connor Brown eventually got the puck back and worked it in behind the Canadiens net. Montembeault up the left-hand side. Pizzetta cut off by Cody Ceci. Now Ryan, as Edmonton swarms the offensive zone, here's Connor Brown, putting it around the boards to Darnell Nurse, who won Thursday's game in overtime against Detroit. It was his 5th career OT winner. Battling as Mitchell Stevens could not get the puck out. Savard able to reverse. Struble up the right-hand side of Pizzetta was finished by Nurse, but took the hit to make the play. Ullinen a shot off the rush and that handcuffs Skinner, but he's able to flop on the rebound and freeze it with 4 minutes gone by in the first period. Jesse Ullinen, a one-time teammate of our colleague Louis DeBrusque, his dad, rather, not Jesse. Otherwise, Louis would have had a long and storied career. 7 years in the NHL. He's a bronze medalist at the 98 Olympics for Finland, and his son Jesse won gold at the 19 World Juniors. Draisaitl wins a face-off from Jake Evans. A clear by Matthias Ekholm. Evans basically being a second-line center. It's going to be an icing call. That was a tight call against Matthias Ekholm, and he's not happy about it. But we should mention, I mean, Evans is playing second-line center because Kirby Dach, Christian Dvorak, Alex Newhook, all of whom have gotten a look at center as members of the Montreal Canadiens are all out.
Going to have a face-off at center here.
Yeah, after a conference. That's a good call.
Because Fogle had beaten Jordan Harris to the puck there.
Yeah, they came together, got it right. Well, got it half right. Puck at center for Draisaitl to take the draw against Evans again. And Evans won the face-off. Kovacevic wires one up the left-hand side. Edmonton in the white uniforms, also blue pants, orange trim. Oilers 7 straight road victories. Brendan Gallagher 2 goals in his last 3 after he went 24 games without a goal. He'll send it down low for Stuart Skinner. Up the left-hand side, Bouchard, a turnover. Gallagher in front. That was sifted wide by Harvey Pinard, who's still looking for his first goal of the year. It's his second game back after missing 2 months with a lower body injury. A clear by the Oilers leads to an icing call. Harvey Pinard kind of came into this lineup after you and I left Montreal last February and really gave him a little bit of a spark. 14 goals in 34 games. He was kind of in his infancy as an NHLer in that matchup on Super Bowl Sunday. But Bob, this year's been banged up, and he's kind of having that sophomore slump a bit.
The Oilers have been slow on pucks here, Jack, in the first 5 minutes of the game. Canadians have got some jump early.
Draisaitl wins the face-off. Ekholm up the right-hand side. Draisaitl misfires on a pass intended for Evander Kane. Neither team practiced yesterday. Of course, the Canadiens were coming off a back-to-back. Edmonton got into Montreal late on Thursday night around 2 a.m. elected not to practice yesterday. Here's Caulfield, a dart down the middle for Suzuki. Left wing, Slavkovsky. He'll enter the Edmonton zone. Beautiful poke check by Cody Ceci up the right-hand side for Zach Hyman. He of the team leading 26 goals. That was very close to interference. Uncalled. Suzuki hits Caulfield. A dish to the middle. Slavkovsky waits, backhander tip. Caulfield can't bat it home. Wow. Skinner got a piece with his left arm and saved a goal. That was a terrific save by Skinner, Bob. I believe he thwarted that mid-air swipe from Caulfield. Zach Hyman down the right-hand side. Shrugs off a check from Mike Matheson and shovels it back to Ceci. Across to Nurse. And that just missed Connor McDavid, but Hyman will keep the cycle going. He rolls up top in the high slot, lets it fly, and that was redirected, and unable to clear was the rookie Joshua Waugh, playing his first NHL game tonight. In front, McDavid, and that was blocked, and a good read at the last second by Matheson. Good pickup. Here's McDavid off the side of the net. Nugent Hopkins, Ceci a blast, and that went off the side of the net. Gooley challenging Nugent Hopkins. Puck comes free. Tapped out. And again, Joshua Waugh cannot get a stick on that puck. McDavid brings it the other way in transition. A quartet of Montreal players were waiting for him. And Slavkovsky makes sure of a clear. Waugh again fails to get it in deep. Turned it over at center. Adam Ernie. Here's a chance. Hamblin a shot. A sliding stop made by Montembeault. He was off balance there. Desharnais put it behind the net for Ernie. Hamblin and Phil Kemp out there playing forward for Edmonton. Second shift as a forward tonight. Breaking free is Sean Monahan, and he'll saucer one out for Struble. Chipped across the Edmonton line and collected by Brett Kulak. We played 7 minutes. 1-0 Montreal, and a power play goal by Cole Caulfield. Right-hand side, James Hamblin lofts it toward the net. That's going to be speared by Montembeault, and he'll freeze it with 12:51 to go as Adam Ernie chesting up with David Savard. 6'1" and 238 robust pounds. We'll come right back to the Bell Center in Montreal. Cole Caulfield Caulfield has given the Montreal Canadiens a surprising early lead. It's 1-0, and this is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
From your home to the ice rink, ATCO Energy is there. As the official energy provider of Rogers Place, we're also proud partners of the Edmonton Oilers. ATCO Energy, powering your place. Customers are free to purchase natural gas services or electricity services from a retailer of their choice. For a list of retailers, visit ucahelps.alberta.ca or call 310-4822.
McDavid trying to come in with speed. Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores!
Hey, Edmonton. Rogers wants you to stay connected to your Edmonton Oilers.
Connor McDavid! Fantastic!
Catch every goal on Canada's largest and most reliable 5G network with Rogers 5G mobile plans. To learn more, visit rogers.com/5G. That's rogers.com/5G.
Did you know the RCMP polices over 99% of Alberta's landscape? From the oil sands to the Rockies to the prairies, the RCMP has a province covered. Providing policing services to more than 1,700 communities and with over 150 career specializations, the Alberta RCMP has something to fit everyone's goals and lifestyles. Visit rcmpcareers.ca and take the next step towards your career with the Alberta RCMP. A message from the Government of Canada.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app. This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Edmonton finds itself down 1-0 with a 9-game winning streak on the line, 7 straight road wins, and ultimately a record of 17-3 over their last 20. And yet, because Seattle has won 8 in a row, Edmonton really doesn't have any breathing room when it comes to the wild card spots in the Western Conference standings. But I will say this, Edmonton's just 3 points behind LA in terms of maybe securing a top 3 position in the Pacific Division. Off the draw, Kane and Draisaitl paired together with Warren Foegele with the illness sidelining Ryan McLeod from tonight's game. And as a result, Edmonton dressing 11 forwards and 7 defensemen, but Phil Kemp is playing forward. At least that's what Chris Knobloch has shown in his first 2 shifts. Nurse to Ceci, right-hand side. Foegele cuts to the middle, wrist shot to save. Montembeault wasn't sure he had it, but indeed he's able to make the squeeze. He's 1-2 against the Oilers, a 5-year man, originally drafted by Florida. And Bob, he really kind of elevated his stock with his performance at the World Championships, did he not?
Yes, he did. And he's got himself rewarded with a 3-year extension, Jack. That's lent itself to, at some point, Jake Allen gets moved.
Well, they've got 3 goaltenders. He can't, long-term, that's not viable to carry 3.
Part of the problem is Jake hasn't played that well lately.
No.
Montembeault has been the best of the 3 guys, and Caden Primo's come along, too, here. Let's drop the puck, Stripes. That's 4 players waved out of the face-off circle. We're not even 7.5 minutes into the game.
Primo was pretty good against Philadelphia on Wednesday. Canadians were outshot 39-19, got a point in Philadelphia, 3-2 shootout loss. And here's McDavid trying to squeeze through some heavy contact, and the Canadians were able to clear back to center. 4th time that McDavid's playing on his birthday. He turns 27 today. He's 2-1 in the previous 3. He's got 2 goals and 5 points to show for his efforts on his birthday. Suzuki flashing it down low to the corner. Evan Bouchard able to regain for Edmonton. And now it's Matthias Ekholm. Oilers in the white, attacking from left to right in this opening period at the Bell Center. McDavid cuts to his left over the Montreal line. Nugent Hopkins curls it back to Bouchard. Did well to hold the zone and then got it back down low. Here's a blast, Bouchard, and that caromed off a body in front. Canadians slow to move the puck. Slavkovsky eventually able to clear back to center. Suzuki floats it ahead for Cole Caulfield, trying to get inside Matthias Ekholm and then turned it over. Connor McDavid with the steal. Caulfield off-season shoulder surgery. Here's a high flip into the Montreal zone. Zach Hyman wrapped up, couldn't make a play. Ullinen will send it over to Mike Matheson. And he'll flash it back to his goaltender, I guess. I don't know whether he was looking for Jordan Harris, but fortunately for Montreal, Montembeault was ready for it. Up the left-hand side, another errant pass, but regained by Pizzetta. Man chopped down, no penalty called. Could have been penalties on both sides there. And eventually it's gained by Stevenson. And then when he centered, Brown picked it off, and they finally called the third infraction on that shift. There had been one on each side, and Janmark eventually gets a hook, and that'll put the Canadiens back on the power play.
Edmonton penalty number 13, 2-minute minor for hooking.
So,
Need a
with
kill
Janmark
here
to the box and forced Ryan off the puck. And Gouli can do that. Physical presence, about 6'3", 200.
It's the second unit that's on the ice to start for the Canadiens.
Gouli off to Waugh, making his NHL debut, a two-time gold medal winner at the World Juniors. He's a fifth-round pick. He had 12 goals in the American Hockey League to start this season, earning the call-up. Harvey Pinard gives it back to Wall. Cross-ice pass, and Gallagher mishandled. Gouli walking the line, left it sitting on the blue line, and conservatively, the Canadiens will fall back. Ullinen off to King Gouli, and Montreal's second unit, kind of a sloppy mess there. Halfway through this penalty kill, it's brought to you by Napa. Every Oilers penalty kill this year brought to you by our friends at Napa Auto Parts. Matheson up the right-hand side to Suzuki. One-timer Caulfield and a save. Stuart Skinner with an excellent read, Bob. He was square to the shooter and made that look routine.
Well, they've opened up some seams on the Oilers already. They've got a one-timer goal out of Cole Caulfield. And now an important draw for Derek Ryan against a former teammate, Sean Monahan. And Ryan got cleaned up on the first Canadiens power play that led to the goal.
Monahan, who's had surgery on his hips, wrist, groin, sports hernia, moved out of the circle here. Ryan against Suzuki. And eventually Matheson dug it out of the corner. A blast by Caulfield and a save made by Skinner. Suzuki couldn't find the rebound, and it was hacked out of the zone by Matthias Ekholm. Montreal with 30 seconds left on its power play. Coming up on 9 minutes remaining in the first period. Caulfield a power play goal at 1:43. And that's the only goal thus far. Desharnais, a heavy hit on Monahan. Puck shook free to the left point. Matheson holds onto it for a moment. And then Connor Brown has been doing some real good work on the PK. He's able to lift it back inside the Montreal blue line. And that'll pretty much do it for this Canadiens power play. And that was the kind of a power play, Bob, where you can lose some momentum.
Yep.
Slavkovsky turned it over. Kulak, Devin Bouchard, and Edmonton made that look easy. The one save by Skinner they needed, they got. And the rest of the time, the Canadiens couldn't really get set up. Now 5-on-5, Bouchard to Hyman. Of course, Draisaitl and McDavid will play together, coming off a successful kill. Bouchard will give it to Hyman. Draisaitl with McDavid lurking in front of the net will put it behind the goal. McDavid catches up to it, feeds Bouchard wide open. Kulak looking for a lane, can't find it. Sends it over, little spin move, Draisaitl. He'll take it hard behind the net using a screen from McDavid, but lost the handle. And Michael Pizzetta, with alacrity, is able to move it into the Edmonton zone and actually forecheck against Draisaitl and shake the puck free. McDavid able to settle it down, kicks it back to Skinner for a handoff to Kulak, who was on that Montreal club that went to the 2021 Stanley Cup Final. Zach Hyman hits the line, forced outside, and then drilled against the boards. Evans battling with Harris. The puck worked free. Ceci at the point, Nurse left-hand side. Tried to go back to the right, and that's picked off by Jake Evans and fluttered back through the neutral zone with 7.5 to go in the first period. Nurse to Ceci, and the Oilers on a reset here. They've been outshot 6-5, and Montreal with a power play goal for the early lead. Here's Darnell Nurse building speed over the line. Shot off the rush, save Montembeault. Big rebound comes to the side of the net, and David Savard is able to snatch that away. Hangs onto the puck, absorbs a shot from Ernie, and now, once again, Montreal will reload. Jordan Harris biding his time as both teams make wholesale changes in personnel. Savard up the right-hand side, angled in by Yoel Armia. Grabbed by Vinny Desharnais. Puts it up the middle, Ernie. Denied at center ice by Armia. And he'll drop it off for Kovacevic. Wired up the right-hand side. Errant pass. That'll be icing against Montreal as Desharnais got back a shade ahead of Monahan. 6:32 to go in the first. And it's still 1-0 for Montreal. Canadiens trying to get back to the 500 mark. Edmonton looking to set a new club record for an overall winning streak and tie one with its 8th straight on the road. McDavid.
Edmonton has not been sharp early.
Between Nugent-Hopkins and Hyman, won the draw cleanly. Ekholm slides over to Bouchard. Now McDavid rolling up top. Nugent-Hopkins sharp angle shot. Montembeault was able to locate that and put it in his hip pocket. We'll take time out. 6:24 to go in the first period. The Oilers finishing up a 3-game road trip at one of the hallowed facilities in the National Hockey League. The Bell Center in Montreal. Canadiens won. Edmonton no score. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Portage College graduates are incredibly employable. How does Portage know? 99% of employers surveyed said they would hire a Portage grad. Get career ready at Portage College. Learn more by visiting portagecollege.ca.
Get ready to live sky high. Sky Signature Suites offers remarkable units for rent, featuring sophisticated floor plans, designer finishes, resort-like amenities, and breathtaking views. Situated in the heart of Ice District, Sky is the address for socializing, dining, entertainment, and fun. A building like no other in a location like no other. Visit SkySignatureSuites.com and make your home high above the ordinary.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
Believing in yourself takes confidence. At Portage College, 93% of grads say their education gave them the skills and knowledge they needed for their careers. That's the kind of confidence that leads to great results. Learn more at portagecollege.ca.
All games, all season. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
So, with 6:24 to go in the first period, the Oilers find themselves down a goal. Power play tally by Cole Caulfield is 12th of the year. That ties Suzuki for the team lead. Suzuki, the captain for Montreal, and Matheson with the helpers. McDavid, an offensive zone faceoff to Montembeault's left. Nugent-Hopkins and Hyman, the wingers, and a face-off win for Sean Monahan. And now a steal by Hyman against Caden Gooley. Heads for the net, centers, and that was tipped. And Monahan is able to regain and lift back towards center. But even there, Bob, it wasn't as quick striking as you'd like off a turnover. Gooley was back.
Too slow.
Lead up the right-hand side. Hyman trying to get around Matheson, using body position. Hand off to McDavid, trying to tuck it in front. And the Canadiens are able to dig it out of the pile. Gooley, though, run off the puck by McDavid. Ekholm to Nugent-Hopkins. He's freed up. One-timer, and Hyman banged it off the side of the net. The ricochet out into the high slot for Ekholm. He'll hand to Hyman. And Edmonton's starting to take over here. Hyman loading up. Left circle, looking for a shot lane. It's not there. Matheson all over. This is where Marty St. Louis wanted Matheson and Gooley for that matchup against Edmonton's top line. McDavid, shot, tipped, whacked around, and grabbed out of midair by Montembeault. Nugent-Hopkins got a piece, but not enough to deflect it past the Montreal goalie. And with 5:25 to go in the first period, it remains 1-0 for the Canadiens. But that's a shift I think Edmonton can build off of.
Got to shoot the puck more. Montembeault's had a relatively harder shot he faced, Jack, was the first one 20 seconds into the game. Desharnais activating off the point.
Oilers have ground out some low-scoring wins as of late. In fact, they've won 4 in a row where they score less than 4. They started the season 1-12-1 if they didn't score more than 3 goals. But they've won their last 4. They're down 1-0 here. The road trip thus far, 2-1 in Chicago on Tuesday, 3-2 in Detroit on Thursday. really solid performance against Detroit after a forgettable game in Chicago.
They could have beat against any other team other than Chicago. They might have lost that game 4 or 5-2. And other than a brilliant goaltending performance against Detroit,
they would have won that 6-2.
Yeah.
Here's a steal by Struble. Then he turns it over. Vogel to Draisaitl and Ceci. And the Oilers don't get a shot as Ceci had it swallowed up. Chipped ahead, left-hand side. Gallagher hard of the net. And could not get a shot away. Excuse me, that was Evans. And it's floated back the other way by Leon Draisaitl, and Darnell Nurse will bring it up to center. He'll chip and charge, brush to the corner by Montembeault. Another opportunity there, Bob, for the Oilers to get a shot, and they got nothing. I thought Vogel actually had an angle to just take that to the net. Pezzetta will bang it in.
Poor first period for Edmonton. Expected more.
Skinner wound around the boards. Jordan Harris on the right-hand side. Pezzetta is able to dash in there. A heavy collision with Darnell Nurse. And now Draisaitl did not move the puck and paid for it, but was able to wrestle it back with help from Cody Ceci. Again, Evander Kane a little slow to move it. Second time he does. And in front of the Edmonton bench, Pezzetta is able to gain possession for Montreal and eventually snap it in. But Edmonton is not at full speed yet, Bob. They're a little slow to move it. And as you pointed out, a little slow to shoot it. Here's Darnell Nurse up to Connor Brown. Down the right-hand side. Around 2 men, forced out wide by Jordan Harris. Tried to flick it back to Janmark, who kept it alive for Desharnais. Puck held in the zone in the estimation of the linesman. Now Joshua Wong, coming off a shaky shift, is able to deliver a pass to Jordan Harris, and up to center. Armia will bang it off the boards, and that actually floats out of play, and unfortunately caught a little piece of a young fan down there, but no harm, no foul. Didn't have much on it. 3:26 to go in the first period. Oilers trail 1-0. They've outshot the Canadiens 8-5.
December 19th, the last time that Connor McDavid of the Edmonton Oilers lost a game against the New York Islanders. 9 straight wins, a chance to tie, break a franchise record tonight to make it 10. What do you think about that opportunity?
Your support makes all
Obviously, it's a great opportunity for us. In a special building. Excited about it.
What did you think of being involved in the process of setting up what should be a wonderful All-Star weekend in Toronto?
Sports is currently growing by the second.
I think lots of guys are involved.
Ron, it was December 19th, the last time that Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers lost a game against the New York Islanders. 9 straight wins, a chance to tie, break a franchise record tonight to make it 10. What do you think about that opportunity?
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, it's a great opportunity for us in a special building. Excited about it.
What did you think of being involved in the process of setting up what should be a wonderful All-Star weekend in Toronto?
I think lots of guys are involved. It's the PA and the NHL working together to make sure that it's entertaining for the fans, and that's ultimately what we want to do.
Happy 27th birthday. Ron, they grow up so fast, don't they?
Yes, they do.
Ron, it was December 19th, the last time that Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers lost a game against the New York Islanders. 9 straight wins, a chance to tie, break a franchise record.
Time you visit a Napa Auto Parts store, when you present your AMA card, you receive an additional 10% discount on all retail parts and accessories. Visit your local Napa Auto Parts store for more offers and expert know-how. Napa Auto Parts is a proud fan of the Edmonton Oilers.
You're listening to Oilers Hockey on 630 CHED and on the Radio Player Canada app.
3.5 to go in the first period. James Hamblin, Connor Brown on the ice as we bring you back to the Bell Center in Montreal. Kulak and Desharnais, we're going to have a center ice face-off. And Adam Ernie on the left wing. Hamblin wins the face-off, but the puck turned over at the Montreal blue line, lifted up the right-hand side. And it's Jesse Ullinen shoveling it back to the point for David Savard, who go to the opposite corner, Pezzetta. Ullinen. Savard right point. Ernie pursuing. Ullinen, weak shot. Kicked away by Kulak. And he'll reverse it safely to Vinny Desharnais. Off the boards and out of the zone. Montreal able to take over, then nearly given away by Struble, who shook off an early game miscue against San Jose. Actually ended up finishing the game in strong fashion. Another guy that keeps one of my favorite names and players in the entire league in the minors right now, and that's Arbor Jacka.
He'll be up at some point.
I would think so. Jeez, what a player. Here's Cole Caulfield scampering his way down the middle of the ice, only to be cut off by Nugent Hopkins and then wired down the middle. Hyman's speed will negate any sort of icing. It's played up the left-hand side by Montembeault, and Slavkovsky off to Caden Gooley. Ahead for Caulfield. Drop past Suzuki. In over the Edmonton line with a wrist shot that's slowed up by Stuart Skinner. 2:14 to go in the first period. And Montreal hasn't peppered Skinner at all, but Bob, the early returns on this game are that Stuart Skinner's going to have to be rock solid and allow his teammates to slowly work themselves to Montreal's level and ultimately past the Canadiens.
I think the Oilers look ponderously slow in this game.
Any reason why?
Well, they missed McLeod, and they elected to send Holloway down because they wanted to play him center. And anybody who said, no, Holloway should just be up, you play him. Tonight's perhaps the reason why.
Draisaitl wins the face-off. Edmonton with Kane and Fogle playing alongside Draisaitl. Jordan Harris muscles a free. Evans ahead for Harvey Pinard. Without a goal in the first 14 games he's played this season. Again, he's been banged up. Draisaitl hit hard by Jake Evans, slid it back to Darnell Nurse.
They're not
off to Cody Ceci.
They're forechecking hard, John.
Draisaitl against Brendan Gallagher. Able to shake him off and eventually send one up the right-hand side for Evander Kane. Draisaitl seems to be using his strength ball, but I'm sure you'd like to see his feet moving a little bit more. Ekholm spilled in by Kane, bouncing puck over Montembeault's stick, and Armia is able to carve it out of there. Joshua Waugh dashes over. Said he really improved his defensive game in the American League, battling as Kovacevic. Could not clear. Wall with an opportunity to move it, and finally Kovacevic ahead for Jake Evans. He'll drop it for Armia. Attacking zone left wing for Montreal. Armia spun to the ice by Ekholm. Not out of the zone. Matheson shot. That slid dangerously wide. Final minute, first period, and the Canadiens break up an outlet pass that floats into the Montreal bench with 54 seconds to go in the first period. It remains 1-0 for the Canadiens, who, remember, less than 3 years ago were playing in the Stanley Cup final, and I know it was a bit of a one-off, but the turnover has been massive, especially and starting with Carey Price, who it does not appear like he'll play again in the National Hockey League.
Price in goal, they had those three big defensemen on the back end. Two of them we saw the other night with Sherratt and Petrie playing together.
Off the draw, Armia. His shot blocked. Hacked at by Savard back behind the net. And it's Wong. Savard through the wickets of Armia. Struble. Armia, Savard, a shot, does not reach the net, and here's Bouchard carrying the play up the left-hand side for Edmonton. Poke check from behind, lost the handle, and the Canadiens with a soft chip back to the red line. Amblin will bring it back in with 25 seconds to go in the period. Connor Brown, a shot to save made by goaltender Sam Montembeault, but when he tried to give it back to the point, neither Ekholm nor Bouchard were there. Final 15 seconds. Bouchard over to Ekholm, drilled it up. Bad change for Montreal, but Hyman didn't catch the pass cleanly. It's knocked off a stick. Here's McDavid inside to Nugent Hopkins. McDavid, 2 seconds. A drive by Ekholm. Rebound Hyman, and he slid a backhander wide at the horn. And Montreal will take a 1-0 lead into the dressing room, despite having been outshot 9-6 by Edmonton. And yet, despite that shots disparity, it felt like the Oilers never quite got going from a pace perspective. Montreal was able to keep Edmonton to the outside for the most part. And the Oilers, a lot like Tuesday night in Chicago, it seemed like passes were exploding off sticks. A lot of turnovers as they approached the Montreal line. How do you see the next two periods unfolding? What's Chris Knobloch going to remind his guys of?
Got to play with more pace. Got to be quicker in the decision-making process on the ice. Play fast. The problem is one of the great puck transporters, the guy that's really emerged here over the last 20 games, Ryan McLeod, they miss him. And again, you got to have speed throughout your lineup. And to me, Montreal looks quicker and faster and sharper. Lines 2 through 4. Even Draisaitl. Leon's got to move. Leon and Vander Kane got to move their feet. And right now, it's not the same with Kane up there with Draisaitl and Fogle. That said, they created a great look 20 seconds into the game for Vincent Desharnais. We'll see what sort of juice the Oilers bring.
How do you see that matchup working out? Matheson and Gooley matched up against the Edmonton's top line.
Haven't scored yet, have they? You'll take it. But Hyman's got the puck a lot. He's been the guy that's got the puck. If that's part of the plan for the Canadiens, is to shave McDavid a little bit more.
Can you overpower them with like a Hyman down low?
You know what he's got to do?
You know, your coach the other night, when we was asked about 9 straight wins, he said, geez, you'd think someone, you know, a team from the 80s would have done that, considering, you know, you guys have a chance to do it, to win 10 in a row, set a franchise record. Do you look at it like that, or would you think about it more post-game?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can set a franchise record, that's exciting, especially an organization as storied as the Oilers are. You know, it's amazing to think that none of those 80s teams would have won 10 in a row, but, you know, a good opportunity for us tonight.
When you look at winning 9 in a row, what would be 2 or 3 things that you would pick at to say, this is why we're having this kind of success?
That's a good question. I think our goalies have played really well. I think we've gotten solid goaltending, given us a chance every single night. Other than that, it feels like it's been different things that have been working well. You know, whether it's the special teams one night or, you know, 5-on-5 another. It's things are going well.
Connor, piggybacking off the first part of your answer there, how do you describe the evolution of Stuart Skinner?
Yeah, just resilient, I would say. You know, obviously he was going through whatever he was going through at the beginning of the year, and, you know, fan base, media is hard on him, and you know, he's done nothing but bounce back time and time again. So it's a credit to him. It's a credit to his character. Obviously, a very good goalie.
What's the special thing about playing here Saturday night, Bell Center? It's got a mystique about it, but do you really feel that as a player coming in?
I certainly do. It's one of my favorite buildings to play in. Just the fans are so into the game. The rink is something about this rink that you know, it's always fun playing here. I always enjoy it and look forward to tonight.
You've mostly done it afternoon style, like it's a different vibe at night.
Yeah, we've played some weird times here. A lot of games here, no fans in the building at all. So definitely a greater appreciation when the fans are here and into the game like they always are. And
it's weirdly one of the rinks in the NHL you had the less success on an individual basis, and by that I mean like 9 points in 12 games. So it's not it's not a catastrophe. Is there such a thing as rinks where it's more difficult to play than others, or is it just a question of opposition you're facing?
I think it's more team. I think our team has you know, maybe I feel like our team maybe doesn't play our best here, but it's another opportunity for us to change that tonight. Obviously, individually, you know, I always enjoy playing in this rink. I feel good in this rink. It's nothing that way. No, nothing about the air. Nothing. I don't know what it is. Hopefully, it changes tonight.
Does it ever get hard to hear your teammates with how loud this crowd can get in this building?
You know what? As loud as the fans are, you know, you can always kind of hear your teammates on the ice.
Do you have a birthday wish?
10 straight wins. That would be my birthday wish. Yeah.
Lots of different people talking about Saturday night, Montreal. For you, what will, you know, you've been in Chicago, Detroit recently, so some original 6 cities, but what about tonight might be kind of special for you as a coach?
Yeah, this road trip's been quite remarkable. The teams that we've had, the original 6, and then we finished off with Montreal, who, you know, I've spent a lot of time watching as a kid, a lot of Hockey Night in Canada games, and, you know, I think I've been here a couple times as an assistant coach, and it's always exciting. It's always electrifying with the atmosphere, and I'm certain tonight's going to be no different.
Just a little housekeeping item here. Ryan McLeod was not on the ice this morning. Is he an available player for you today?
Yeah, we hope to have him tonight. We'll have an extra taking warm up, but just a little under the weather, and we feel that he should be able to play tonight.
Obviously on a great streak right now. If you had to pinpoint a couple of things where you'd even like to see improvement from your team, what would they be?
As a coach, you're always wanting to tighten up defensively, not giving up as many chances, just because as the season goes on, so many other teams are doing the same. They're not giving you as many scoring chances, making it harder to score. But overall, I think we've done a pretty good job in that area. I think our penalty kill's been doing an outstanding job eliminating opportunities. Our discipline's been much better. We've been shorthanded a lot less than we were, maybe a couple months ago. But I think maybe as a maybe improvement, maybe getting a little more contributions, a little more offense from maybe lines 3 and 4.
You mentioned the PK. Can you? I don't know how much knowledge you had on Vincent Desharnais before you took the job, but just a thought on maybe how his puck skills have improved under Paul Coffey and how he's played for you.
Yeah, no, Vinny's been outstanding. As a young player getting in the league, I think as a bigger defenseman, usually it's puck play, and lately it's been outstanding. I think he's been really good moving the puck, keeping it simple, making some really nice passes. And, I think with Paul being there, he's really encouraged the defenseman to be making those plays. And I think all 6 of them have done that, and Vinny included. And then as for the penalty kill, him and Eki are usually our first 2 defensemen over the boards, start a kill. And Vinny's been probably our leading shot blocker, and he's got a really good stick and something we rely on quite a bit. So, we've been happy with all 6, and Vinny's, under what I've seen of him, he's been really impressive.
Speaking about Desharnais, just said that the Washington games was a turning point. Did you feel it?
Absolutely. We just lost 3 games in a row, I believe, at that time, and the last 2 that we lost were actually 3. The Tampa Bay and the Florida games were games where we played well in spurts and had leads, lost it, and then we played in Carolina and we just did not show up. We were just slowed everything and didn't play very well. And the guys came to the rink, very business-like atmosphere, and we're ready to change the way the season's been going. And definitely that was a turning point in our season.
Confidence doesn't seem like something you can turn on and off. Like, there's a gradual way to lose it and a gradual way to build it up. Is there elements that you saw kind of develop here that started to turn it up, where it would turn the corner and get to as high as it is right now?
Well, during that road trip, we talked about goal setting, what we needed to do, and it seemed like we were so far out of the playoff picture that we weren't ever going to catch up. And I think it was important for our players to look at what they needed to do right now, and opposed to where they needed to be at the end of the season. And, we broke our season up into little segments and ultimately said if we just win this many games in each segment, we've got a really good opportunity to make the playoffs. And it didn't seem like that big of a task. And I think it gave our players a little bit of a relief, a little bit of all right, we can do this. We don't need to win every game until the end of the season. And I think when we started to look at just not the big picture, just looking at our next game or maybe our next couple games, took away the pressure from the players, and they were able to just go out and play hockey. And, we've got some really exceptional hockey players. Everyone knows how good our players are. And the caliber of team that we had, they just need to just forget about the standings and the way the season had been going and just think about their next game they're playing or even their next shift. And I think that helped our team a lot.
When you went into Erie in November of 2012, Connor was 50. Does it seem a little bit, it's his 27th birthday today, seem a little bit surreal that you're here and then coaching him, given and just how far he's grown as a player and maybe just a little bit in terms of mirroring your own professional development as a coach as well?
Yeah, no, it's seems like it goes by so fast. I can't believe, Connor being 27 today and, I started coaching him when he was 15, and how quickly it goes by, and the career that he's had, it's no surprise, but there's never any guarantees of what you're going to see as a young player moving on to the NHL. You knew he was going to be a good player, but how good, you never know. And obviously part of that is a very good hockey player, but seeing him practice and his habits and how committed he is off the ice, on the ice, he just didn't want to be just a good player in the NHL. He wanted to push himself, and obviously that's a very good lesson for all young hockey players, that as good as Connor was, he wasn't satisfied, and it was same as when he was a young player in Erie and also here in the NHL. It's just, I don't think there's many days where he's not the hardest working guy at practice, and obviously you see guys put so much effort into it. It's nice to see them have the success that he's had.
The Montreal Canadiens have been struggling recently, but as we know, any team can beat anyone on any given night. How would you describe the team you're facing tonight?
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's a very difficult league, and there's no easy games. And if any teams that have been struggling or really beat up by injuries, shorthanded, was a few nights ago when we were playing Chicago, and you see how well Chicago's been playing. And there was a game that we shouldn't have won. They were the better team, and we were fortunate to get out of that. And a lot of that had to do with goaltending and just some breaks. I think tonight with Montreal, there's obviously it's a younger team, but they can turn around from night to night. And I think we're going to see a very hungry, passionate team, very similar that we saw from Chicago the other night. And if we are not prepared for it, we're going to be it'll hurt us.
Weirdly, the Bell Center is one of the rinks in the NHL where Connor McDavid has been the less productive in his career. Is there such a thing as rinks where it's more difficult to play for a team or a player, or it's just like random? I don't mean just about Connor, but in general.
No, yeah, I don't know. I haven't been around long enough to see why players play so well in certain places, and there's so many factors on, your schedule, because so often when you're playing a team or you're coming into that rink, you might have been playing a back-to-back, and you might be coming from somewhere else, or you might have a bunch of family coming in, or sometimes players play well when they have a lot of family to visit with and get ready for that game. Others, they don't. So I don't really have an opinion on that.
Stu, can you talk about the prestige about playing in a building like this against a historic franchise?
Yeah, it's always a really exciting time. Being able to play in the Bell Center. As a kid too, you always you like watching the Canadiens play, and you like watching Edmonton play the Canadiens, especially at the Bell Center. It's a historic building, right? So I'm always very excited to play in it.
Stu, in your opinion, what is the primary quality that your team has kind of exhibited during the course of this 9-game win streak that's allowed you guys to come out on top each and every night?
Yeah, I actually think it's been a lot of maturity with our group. I think there's been games where we've been down 1, down 2, down 3. There's been games where we've been up 3, and just being able to either take back the lead or just being able to stay composed, stay poised in the positions that we are, have been really critical, because it's easy to kind of get down on yourself after being down a couple goals or being up a couple goals. Sometimes it's easy to kind of let loose, and I think our team's just been consistent.
Speaking of composure, do you feel like yourself personally, you've been more composed when something doesn't go your way in game, that you're able to kind of bounce back to baseline a little bit quicker?
Yeah, I think it's very important especially just for goalies to be in that kind of mindset. Odds are you're going to get scored on pretty close to every game. Even if you get 10 shutouts, there's 50 other games you're going to get scored on. So being able to stay composed, being able to, just refocus after things don't go well is really important. So I think for myself individually, I'm always working on that piece.
Fans of Canadian teams wants to have the miracle from their goaltender, as you know probably. Is that tough to evaluate your own game when you are the starter of the Oilers, of the Canadiens, of the Leafs? Is that tough?
Yeah, it's always something that you want to do. I think that's why we all probably chose to be a goalie in the first place. We wanted to, be able to win games, stand on our heads, make, amazing saves, and just really give our team a chance to win. So that's always been a really huge thing, and that's what gets the goalies up in the morning. I think, I'm always very excited. I'm very fortunate and very hungry to, give my team a chance to win every night.
Vincent just told us that before we look too much on the goalies situation in Edmonton. Is that what you think too? To explain why the team, didn't have the result that we expect?
Maybe. Just as, do you mean just for
Yeah, just keep focusing day after day on the goalie situation, on the goalies game. And
yeah, sometimes I think. For me, it's different for me because I am the goalie, so yeah. I'm kind of always focusing on my side of things. But for others or like what anyone else says, I think it's out of my control. Everyone kind of has their opinions on things, and I have my opinion, and I have my sense of who I am. And me, Calv, and Shorty, we've been doing a really good job at just trying to stay focused on our job and just trying to stay in our realm of things. And that's been really important for me too. Not getting distracted by kind of the noise and just trying to stay focused on, stopping one puck at a time.
Thank you.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot for this, but your captain turns 27. Do you have a favorite McDavid memory in your time wearing the orange and blue?
A favorite McDavid memory? There's a lot of them, and the reason why I say that is because I've got him out a lot in sewer ball. So every moment where I get him out in sewer ball is a very fond moment for me.
I can't imagine he's too happy about that.
He's never happy about it. He's normally really upset about it, actually. Favorite McDavid memory? That's a great question. A lot of things are going through my head. I think honestly, just spending time with him on the plane. We're always playing Mario Kart. It's always fun, being able to hang out with each other and in that sense of things. But I think the moments are honestly just getting him frustrated from beating him at things because he's very competitive, as we all know. But hey, so am I. I'm very competitive too. We all are in this room, so anytime you got to beat him, you got to rub it in his face.
Is he still regarded as the king of Mario Kart on the plane?
I think Nuge is the king of Mario Kart. And I'm working my way up to 2, I think. So don't tell Connor that. I'm sure he'll see this. But.
All right, RC.
It was December 19th, the last time that Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers lost a game against the New York Islanders. 9 straight wins, a chance to tie and break a franchise record tonight to make it 10. What do you think about that opportunity?
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, it's a great opportunity for us in a special building. Excited about it.
What did you think of being involved in the process of setting up what should be a wonderful all-star weekend in Toronto?
I think lots of guys are involved. It's the PA and the NHL working together to make sure that it's entertaining for the fans, and that's ultimately what we want to do.
Happy 27th birthday. Ron, they grow up so fast, don't they?
Ultimately what we want to do.
Happy 27th birthday. Ron, they grow up so
nowhere to go. And again, Bob, I know the shots are in favor of Edmonton, but this feels like a game where Skinner, once again, is not going to be afforded the luxury of allowing the opponent, I would say, more than 2 tonight.
Well, right now, Martin St. Louis is looking like a genius because the Matheson-Gouli tandem has shut down McDavid along with Nugent Hopkins and Hyman. To me,
I thought Gooley played well in Edmonton last year. What do you think?
Love him. I mean, we had that discussion that draft year, him or Holloway.
Dylan Holloway, the only player 22 and under to have a point for the Edmonton Oilers this season. Montreal has 86 points from guys 22 or younger.
Great stat from you there. Now, that said, we expect Holloway up next week, but...
Well, and it also demonstrates where the two teams are in terms of their championship window.
The Oilers just can't get pucks deep. Like, it's awful to watch right now.
Bouchard through the neutral zone. Janmark to Connor Brown. Wrist shot save Montembeault, and then the stick was tied up as Derek Ryan was hard charging to the net but could not extract that stick free. Lead pass to Janmark, and that was deflected high right in front of the Montreal bench. Waugh finds it and shoots it behind the Edmonton net. Two players making their NHL debut tonight. Philip Kemp for Edmonton and Joshua Waugh for the Montreal Canadiens. Jordan Harris off a dump in will pick it up for Montreal. Armia, Kovacevic up the left-hand side. McDavid a forecheck, and there's an opportunity for the Canadiens to not move the puck. McDavid's forechecking, pestering, but a clear by Kovacevic, and the Canadiens are able to duck out of that problem. Here's a dish by Kulak up the left-hand side as Edmonton kind of shuffled things up there to try to get away from Gooley and Matheson. Now Montreal's whistled for an offside. 2.5 gone by in the second period, and I would expect Chris Knobloch to continue to tinker both in his rotation. He might shuffle the deck here, just looking for a spark.
Well, they look flat, and I got to tell you, Nugent Hopkins, for me, he's had a quiet, got a penalty early in the game. Very sleepy performance from him.
Well, he was stopped point blank, in fairness to him, on that midair swipe by Montembeault. That was a pretty good chance. Or, excuse me, no, I'm flipping that around. That was Skinner stopping Caulfield. But Nugent Hopkins had one look early, Bob, and since then, as you said, that Caden Gooley-Matheson defensive pairing has been pretty solid. Caulfield up the left-hand side for Nick Suzuki. Knocked off a stick. McDavid tried to leave it in the high slot, but no one home. And Caden Gooley is just going to take a skate right now for Montreal as they quickly got out of that. Harris Kovacevic shot in by Matheson, and that's steered to the corner by Stuart Skinner. Now McDavid will attack Matheson. Tried to hit Nugent Hopkins. The pass tip. Nugent Hopkins kept it for Bouchard, who rammed it off the goalpost. He beat Montembeault, but hit the inside of the left post. Nugent Hopkins shot, and that's deflected up and out of play. And a collision between Hyman and Montembeault, and Montreal taking exception. And of course, whenever I think of a collision involving Montembeault, I think about the time, Bob, 2 years ago when we were in here, and Zach Kassian drilled him, and no one did a thing. And finally, Pezzetta, who at that time was just breaking in the league, had to take the fight with Kassian, and as you can imagine, it didn't go that well for him.
No.
But at least he stepped up. No one else did. Hyman.
Montembeault might have sold that one a little bit. Wow.
Well, there was no penalties called on the play, and Montreal able to get in the lane.
Oilers are now not using Kemp at forward. They're down to using the 11 forwards.
Right. Here's Kulak, left-hand side. They tried him for a couple shifts in the first period. Here's Janmark, a shot that did not make its way through, and Michael Pezzetta will skate it out for the Canadiens. Adam Ernie will not let him get the puck in deep. Uladin came over. 4 players converge at the red line, and it's finally dug out of there by Stevens. Rick shot coming, fought off by Skinner against David Savard, and he's able to snag the rebound. Mitchell Stevens creating that play, and Skinner finding that shot from distance through a screen. Token pushing and shoving involving Vinny Desharnais and Michael Pezzetta. Desharnais ending Jackie's season last year. Jackie throwing a punch, didn't get full extension, caught him too early on the shoulder, and put himself out for the year.
Let's face it, he hasn't been the same player since. Missed all last year. Didn't get off to the start they were looking for this year. He's in the minors right now in Laval. Again, he'll be up at some point.
Well, I think the emergence of some other players, most notably Struble, have kept him down. I like Jack Eye. Here's a length of
tough.
the ice clear by Nurse, and that'll be an icing call whistled against Edmonton. 4 minutes gone by in the second, and the Oilers just missing a little connectivity right now.
They look awful. The only good news is it's just a 1-0 game.
Well, again, as we talked about heading to break after the first period, Bob, Montreal doesn't pull away from anyone. That's the problem when you're 28th in the league offensively. You can't take advantage when the opponent's having an off night. And Chicago, same thing on Tuesday. Hawks mucked it up, played reasonably well, but ultimately couldn't find a goal against Stuart Skinner. Canadiens walk in left to right. Jordan Harris down low to Brendan Gallagher. Then back to Harris. He'll walk the line into the high slot. He's a left-handed shot. Nowhere to move the puck. Draisaitl crowds him, forces him into a tough pass in the corner, but Montreal won the battle. Evans, one-timer ripped by Gallagher. Didn't get all he wanted on that shot, and Stuart Skinner makes the save. And now, once again, Harvey Pinard and Darnell Nurse, not for the first time tonight, jousting one another a little bit on the whistle.
That pairing of Nurse and Ceci, and I know Nurse got the GWG and OT the other night, but couldn't love their game here in these 2 games on this trip so far. This is the 3rd one.
Oilers come into this game having won 17 of their last 20, including 9 in a row. Hoisted off the right-hand glass and out by Bouchard. Good touch, no icing. Kovacevic nearly had the puck stolen away. The Oilers swoop into the offensive zone. Ekholm trying to create havoc, but his pass was knocked away. Waugh too far for Sean Monahan, and that puck will be played by Stuart Skinner and lifted down the right-hand side. Kovacevic up the left-hand boards for Waugh on to Yoel Armia, and the play is whistled down for an offside. We played 5 minutes here in the second period. 1-0. Pace of play has been tepid,
to say the least.
and Montreal making Edmonton work for everything. I mean, the Oilers aren't giving up a ton, but they've only got 11 shots.
Canadiens, a top 5 team in the league in the face-off circle. Edmonton's improved a lot under Chris Knobloch in that area, but it's...
David just won one. Ekholm up the left-hand side, spilled in by Nugent Hopkins. Montembeault with Hyman bearing down on him, snapped it up the left-hand boards, cleared over to Caden Gooley. Once again, Gooley and Matheson out for Edmonton's top line. Juraj Slafkovsky gained the line, dishing off. Suzuki wrist shot, and that's held by Stuart Skinner, who's faced some pretty decent chances from Montreal's top players. I mean, that's the one thing you have to say is the Canadiens are getting more opportunities for their top guys than Edmonton.
Yep, one good 5v5 shift late first period for Edmonton for McDavid, Hyman, and Nugent Hopkins, but they never took the puck to him.
McDavid against Suzuki. Nick Suzuki really elevated his play in that run to the 21 Cup final. Only 5 guys from that team are in the lineup tonight. Josh Anderson is out. He's day-to-day. Caden Gooley. Matheson, wrist shot sailed wide. Rebound caromed off the corner boards, and now McDavid took it away from Caden Gooley, and he'll attack him. Tried to center, deflected, open, and Zach Hyman in the slot. He'll dish. One extra pass, and Caulfield broke it up. Evan Bouchard tried to give it back to McDavid. Button hooking on Caden Gooley, taking him to the hole, one-handing it on net, and Montembeault kicked it out for a clear. Down the middle of the ice. Bouchard had his pocket picked by Suzuki. He bowled him over. Brown loved it. Suzuki back on the puck. Slafkovsky, little spin move. Wade stitches. Suzuki a shot. Had it blocked. Bouchard held his ground and stayed in the lane and eventually chops it back toward the Montreal net. Hyman a bit of a drive-by. Matheson with a puck for Montreal.
Oilers getting knocked off pucks, getting beaten to loose pucks so far through the first 26 minutes of this game.
Matheson playing in his hometown. He went to Boston College, but from the area, up the left-hand side, Yoel Armia. Now Ullin had his puck knocked off his stick. David Savard there with the requisite support, and eventually punched forward by Mitchell Stevens. Played by Skinner up the left-hand glass, not out. Snapshot Savard, caromed directly to Struble. Looks for a lane around Philip Kent. He's getting another shifted forward, Bob. Checks Struble off the puck, and Adam Ernie will break it out. Ernie got a little push from Brett Kulak as the Oilers move into the offensive zone. But Ernie can't get there, and Yoel Armia with control for Montreal. They'll bring it to center and dump it in. Kulinen checked off the puck by Nurse. CC, couple whacks at it. Jake Evans able to hog time, keep it in the corner. Harvey Pinard unable to slide by CC. Oilers bottled up, though. Evander Kane pinned along the end board. CC with support, and the lead pass Fogle to Leon Draisaitl. David Savard back. Draisaitl fires, and that was a blocking save made by Montembeault. They can take advantage of Savard's lack of quickness. That's a matchup that, and again, Bob talked about Leon getting his feet moving. You could exploit that. Here's a pass up the right-hand side that's waved off for icing. Skinner squeezed, ended up handing off to Darnell Nurse, and Draisaitl now with a spin move at center. Jake Evans able to make a steal at the red line for the Canadiens. Draisaitl stole it right back. This time he'll challenge Kovacevic. Cross ice, it was tipped. Fogle batted it out of midair, checked by Waugh. Kane to Draisaitl, inside to Fogle. And again, a steal by Joshua Waugh. He'll scamper to center and get it in deep. Skinner to knock it down. Almost halfway through this hockey game. 1-0 Montreal. 11:30 to go in the second period. Desharnais to Leon Draisaitl. The chip down the middle. Kovacevic over to Jordan Harris.
They know the Oilers aren't sharp, so they picked up the forechecking pressure on Edmonton here.
Derek Ryan up the right-hand side. Harris pounces on that puck. Eventually, the puck squirts free, and Yoel Armia with control for Montreal. Edmonton has not drawn a penalty tonight. The Oilers have not been able to get on the power play. That's something that we've seen Edmonton kind of bail themselves out if they're able to get on a power play when their 5-on-5 game isn't as sharp. Janmark pokes it free.
But look at there's just no quickness on puck retrievals.
Kulak off to Vinny Desharnais. Up the right-hand side. Punch forward by Janmark. Montembeault takes a peek. Hands off to Cole Caulfield. He's trapped, throws it around the boards. Ekholm was going to pick it off and shoot just wide. Rebound, McDavid is onto the ice. Challenging Slafkovsky. Hard in the hole. And that puck squirted off his stick. Caulfield could not get it out. Now a chance for Edmonton finally to work with McDavid against someone other than Cooley and Matheson. Battling in the corner. Connor Brown. Puck thrust to the opposite side of the rink, and Slafkovsky turns and is able to carve that back to center. Ekholm will shoot it in for Edmonton. Settled and floated back the other way by Savard. Out of the reach of Slafkovsky, and it's an icing call against the Canadiens with 9:54 to go in the second period. Attacking zone draw for Edmonton, and now you've got McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins, and Hyman out against Struble and Savard, who is not quick.
Got to win the draw here. Connor McDavid's worked his way up from about 44% to 51. Suzuki's a good face-off man for the Habs.
Keep in mind, second period, long change for the Canadiens. Savard tried to angle it out of the zone off the draw. McDavid, a great zone keep, and here's Hyman rolling his way behind the net. Protecting the puck, using a screen from Bouchard. High slot, tucked it toward the net. Suzuki bumped it loose, and then Struble failed to clear. He had it on his stick, and now McDavid tries to burrow inside. Sent around the boards, but Ekholm will maintain the zone for Edmonton. Real pivotal shift here. Nugent-Hopkins against Slafkovsky. Cross ice, McDavid dishes. Ekholm shoots, and that stayed out. Rebound up off the glass, held in by Bouchard. McDavid cuts toward the middle. Pass a little behind Matthias Ekholm. First time the Canadiens have really looked vulnerable. Ekholm steps up, high slot blast, and a save Montembeault, and he'll squeeze it. And Montreal can breathe a collective sigh of relief. The Canadiens are able to get out of that shift with their 1-0 lead intact. 9:09 to go, second period. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
It's Game On at City Ford, where right now you can find huge savings on the lot, including up to $18,000 off F-150s, plus 2.99 financing, plus find rates as low as 5.99% on used vehicles, and score up to $5,000 credit card cash.
And the City Ford prize wheel could net you a trip to Vegas, an iPad, a snowblower, or Costco gift card with your purchase.
Visit City Ford on the St. Albert Trail.
Over the last decade, the world of work has changed dramatically. It's a change that can cause a disconnect between a company and its employees. But a partnership with Aon can help by making decisions that create a more flexible, engaged, and resilient workforce. Aon's experience and expertise, global understanding, and advanced analytics ensure that every client is better informed and better advised so that they can make better decisions. Whatever the next decade brings, Aon is in the business of better decisions.
Your furnace is dead. It's time to replace it before winter crushes you. Legacy Heating and Cooling is practically there already. Yeah, we're working in your basement, doing a replacement. The work is so furnacey, building your legacy. With no payments and no interest for 1 year, you gotta call Legacy. Replacing your dying furnace before it's too late, that's how you build your legacy. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
All games, all seasons. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Jack Michaels, Bob Stauffer from our Legacy Heating and Cooling broadcast booth. Draisaitl on the ice for an offensive zone draw with Kane and Warren Foegele. The only goal of this hockey game belongs to Cole Caulfield and the Montreal Canadiens. It came on the power play less than 2 minutes in. Canadiens are 1 for 2. The Oilers haven't gotten a power play yet this evening as Draisaitl digs in for a matchup with Jake Evans. After tonight, Edmonton will play 5 of the next 6 at home, starting with a Tuesday date against the Maple Leafs, who are playing the front end of a back-to-back tonight against Colorado and lead at 3-1. Off the draw, Nurse to Cody Ceci. Draisaitl beats his man to the net, short side, and a save made by Montembeault, who did a nice job there of shrugging that left shoulder up and not making himself small. And his save keeps Montreal's 1-0 lead on the board. Did Draisaitl hit a little postage?
I think he got a little postage on that.
But is that maybe because Montembeault sealed it?
Oilers haven't had an effective net front of Montembeault. Nice reverse pivot by Leon there on that set playoff and face-off wins.
Jake Evans slumped from 13 goals, a career high in 2022, to only 2 last season. But he wins a face-off here against Draisaitl, and now Harvey Pinard will send Evans loose down the middle of the ice. He'll crisscross with Gallagher, handed off, wrist shot, low glove, and a save made by Stuart Skinner with 8:51 to go in the second period, and the Oilers still trailing by a count of 1-0. They've outshot Montreal 15-12 tonight.
Real directness, though, with the Canadiens. Any chance they get, they're putting it on the net. The Oilers have had some ozone cycles. They probably had considerably more ozone time in this game, especially when you factor in the power play for Montreal, 5-on-5. Need to put some more pucks on the net.
Draisaitl, clean face-off win against Jake Evans, who then taps it back to Kovacevic. Up the right-hand side, Brendan Gallagher. Checked by Warren Foegele. Darnell Nurse over to Cody Ceci up the right-hand side for Evander Kane. Wires one rink wide for Foegele to the middle of the ice, and Draisaitl has drawn a penalty. Hard to the net. Eventually gets the puck from Foegele. Wide open is Kane, but he whiffed. He was sitting in the slot and just couldn't get one on net. Now McDavid is the extra man in a delayed penalty situation. 6-on-5. Cody Ceci over to McDavid. Building speed, now Draisaitl. Oilers scored in L.A. off a similar scenario where they had about a minute of 6-on-5 time. Here's McDavid rolling around Kovacevic without a stick, centering Nurse. Again, not much on the one-timer. The Oilers just not all that sharp, and this is a situation, I'm not going to blame the ice surface. The Oilers are just healing some pucks, but they'll be on the power play for the first time tonight. Brought to you by
number 11, Minor Pally hooking.
CBA mandated off day for both teams yesterday. The Canadiens playing the second of the back-to-back. Oilers didn't practice Wednesday. They look like it a bit, Jack.
So, with the power play just ahead, we'll take time out. 7:56 to go in the second period. The Montreal Canadiens lead at 1-0. Edmonton in search of the equalizer in 90 seconds. This is 4 Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Staying at the JW Marriott Edmonton Ice District offers prime access to Rogers Place and the Ice District without needing to go outside. Offering welcoming modern luxury, the JW offers an elevated experience unrivaled in Alberta. Visit jwmarriottedmonton.com to book today.
Real Canadian Superstore is your one-stop shop. Check out their flyer for their PC Ultimo offers, deals on club size and no-name items. Always low-priced everyday items. There are so many ways to save for real at the Real Canadian Superstore.
IUOE Local 955 is celebrating 75 years as one of Alberta's largest and most diverse union locals in the province. Members work in everything from construction and maintenance to pipelines, renewables, healthcare, education, municipalities, and more. They are a big part of Alberta's past and will be a big part of Alberta's future. Jobs, pension, benefits. That's IUOE Local 955. Visit joinustoday.ca to learn more, and let's go Oilers! Staying at the JW Marriott Edmonton Ice District offers prime access to Rogers Place and the Ice District without needing to go outside. Offering welcoming modern luxury, the JW offers an elevated experience unrivaled in Alberta. Visit jwmarriottedmonton.com to book today.
You're listening to Oilers Hockey on 630 CHED and on the Radio Player Canada app.
Power play for Edmonton, brought to you by our friends at ATCO Energy, your trusted Alberta retailer. The usual suspects, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, McDavid, and Evan Bouchard. And for whatever reason, even though the Oilers have won 7 of the 8 games, the Oilers are 1 for their last 20 on their last 8 on the road. For whatever reason,
they don't shoot the puck, John.
Well, they've still won, so it's kind of nitpicking, but for whatever reason, that power play has cooled off just a shade. It's still sitting at better than 25% on the year. 7th in the league. Here's Connor McDavid, deep in the right circle, centering, and Matheson was able to get a stick on that one, but couldn't clear. Bouchard to Nugent Hopkins, top of the left circle. Bouchard high slot, moves at McDavid, just outside the right faceoff dot. Now Draisaitl on the goal line. He'll hover right circle, snap it across for McDavid. Picked it up, settled it, top of the left circle. Nugent Hopkins, point blank, shot, save made, Montembeault, rebound, steered away from Draisaitl, but not past Bouchard, who snaps to McDavid. One-timer Draisaitl, and that time he elevated the puck and missed the net badly. And here comes Jake Evans, shorthanded with Armia. Evans tried to float one in front, picked off by Bouchard, and here come the Oilers. Turnover by Evans. Hyman trying to make them pay. Draisaitl hits the trailer. McDavid gets it back. Loads back to McDavid. Shoots, and somehow that stayed out. Matheson might have gotten a piece of it. Montembeault was lunging as well. Here's McDavid down the slot. One-timer Draisaitl. Save made Montembeault. And he'll freeze it with 41 seconds left in the minor to Gallagher, and reluctantly Edmonton's unit going to come off, and Leon Draisaitl really laboring for Edmonton.
He's frustrated that he didn't pick that one up clean, but they haven't picked up anything clean. You think of the Canadiens' first power play goal, one-timer, and you look at the Oilers so far in this game.
We've seen some pucks explode off sticks tonight. Here's Connor Brown winning a draw for the Oilers. Second unit, Kane off to Matthias Ekholm. Gets it back, snapped it on net, save made, and then Nurse with an open net, healed one wide. Just what you were talking about, Bob. Caden Gooley, side of the net, Montembeault. Sees a failed clear by Harvey Pinard. Nurse will give it up for Matthias Ekholm, and the second unit maintains possession. Shot tipped away. Chase for it, Kane. Against Kovacevic. Monahan could not get a clear. Warren Fogle takes it beneath the goal line. Monahan with a second chance to clear, and this time he will. And maybe 3-on-2 shorthanded. Elevating and activating is Caden Gooley, but he'll just conservatively chip it behind the Edmonton net, and that'll be all for the Oiler power play. Fogle lost the handle. Jordan Harris with the team's back 5-on-5. Spilled in by Gallagher fresh out of the box. And now 5 minutes and 40 seconds left in the second period. And it's still 1-0 for Montreal. Not had a goal since inside 2 minutes. To start the game, Caulfield banged one in on the power play. And he's set up by Suzuki, and then he half-fanned on a shot from the left circle. And Skinner makes the save, but Nurse with a glorious opportunity and an open net left circle, just did not make clean contact with the puck. And as a result, 5:25 remaining in the second. And it's still Montreal 1 and Edmonton no score. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
When it comes to tough, there's no second best. It's why we built the 2023 Ford F-150 with available Power Boost full hybrid V6 engine and class exclusive Pro Power onboard. If you want the truck built with power, capability, and innovation, there's no substitute. There's only F-150. Right now, get 0.99% APR purchase financing for up to 60 months on select 2023 F-150 models. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca for details.
Live sky high with remarkable units for rent and for sale at Sky Signature Suites. Currently offering amazing incentives on 1- and 2-bedroom rentals featuring designer finishes, resort-like amenities, and breathtaking views. All of this and more within the heart of Ice District, Edmonton's best address for shopping, dining, entertainment, and fun. Visit SkySignatureSuites.com and make your home high above the ordinary.
At the Chop Leaf, greens for lunch gets you moving. Now you can shake, shake, shake it. Made with fresh greens and vegetables, choose from 9 delicious, oh-so-shakeable salads. Or try it as a wrap or rice bowl. So however you shake it, you'll enjoy something you can feel good about. Visit the Chop Leaf near you or order online today to enjoy some freshness on the go.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
Montreal, a game within 500. The Canadiens currently 7 points out of a playoff spot, but they only have 8 victories in regulation all year long. Only San Jose can say that.
Well, the Oilers lost to San Jose.
They've split with them this year. Yeah, 3-2. That was kind of the nadir of the season. Probably the game that cost Jay Woodcroft his job. Chris Knobloch has come on and delivered a 19-6 record in his first 25 games. He and the Oilers trail 1-0 late in the second. And it's a dump in where Montembeault looks for a clear up the right-hand side. Janmark,
even there again,
muscled off the puck, and you got 3 Oilers within a 6-foot radius, and you can't keep it in the zone. Here's Janmark busting through Pizzetta and down the middle of the ice. Chopped from behind. That puck, again, just won't sit still.
This guy's noticed.
David Savard. There have been some close plays on both sides, I would say. Struble controlling for Edmonton, and with a 1-0 lead, the Canadiens more than content to allow some clock to run. Here's a steal by Kulak. Good read, and now Derek Ryan in transition. Backhander coming, and a save made on Zach Hyman by Sam Montembeault. Ryan will change. Canadiens bottled up in their own zone. Ekholm holds sway. And now it's reversed off to Struble. With Nugent Hopkins on him, he'll lay one off the glass, and the Canadiens try to get it in deep. They did not initially and turn it over in the middle of the ice. Nugent Hopkins off to Zach Hyman. He'll drive short side and a save made. And again, it didn't look like Hyman got all he wanted on that snapshot. 4:08 to go. Montembeault collects his 20th save of the night. A guy with only 1 career shutout in the National Hockey League, Sam Montembeault.
How many A-grade scoring opportunities? I mean, 2 on the power play.
Well, they've had some good looks, Bob, but they've healed some pucks that have never reached the net. I mean, it's hard for me to evaluate that because Montembeault hasn't had to make the save because the pucks have just exploded off sticks tonight. Up the left-hand side off the draw. The Canadiens are able to get a clear. Ekholm defending in the slot. Puck caromed off a body as it was exiting the zone, so Suzuki will wind it along. Slavkovsky knocked off balance. Goulie's shot from distance. He's easily handled by Skinner. 3:47 to go in the second period. Sam Montembeault coming into tonight with just 42 wins in 108 career decisions. The 1 shutout came in February of 22 against the Buffalo Sabres. was his first season in Montreal. He's now in his third. And off the draw, Kovacevic for Montreal in the offensive zone. Nurse and Ceci out there. Fogle, Draisaitl, and Kane.
There again.
Not able to get it out. Fogle with a giveaway this time. Nurse up the left-hand side. Fogle will try it again. And again, his pass was deflected. This time, Evander Kane was able to clear to center, and Draisaitl tried to brush it back to Nurse for a reset, and he has trouble handling it. So Draisaitl will take it himself. Gallagher, then Harvey Pinard rushes at him, so the pass delivered to Nurse, and he'll skate up the left-hand side and snap it in from center. Jordan Harris could not handle the puck. Fogle inside to Draisaitl. He'll move it back to Kane. Leon Draisaitl, 19 goals on the year, out to Cody Ceci, a drive, and that whistled wide. Rebound grab by Harris. Ceci without a goal in his last 116. Waugh fell down at center. Slashed back in by Evander Kane. Edmonton trying to ratchet up the pressure here with 2:44 to go in the second period. And the Canadiens still with a 1-0 lead. Jordan Harris up the right-hand side. Cleared up the left wing boards by Kulak, Armia. Crowd's been relatively quiet because the action has not been sustained. It's been a choppy affair, and again, that usually favors the underdog. Struble does well to hold the zone. Winning a battle from behind the net, Monahan tried to curl it in front, and that was broken up. Matthias Janmark building speed as he comes up with it. Cuts to his right, advances through center, and now on to Connor Brown. Left wing, floats it in front, and that was just out of the reach of James Hamblin. And what a time it would be for Connor Brown to get off the schneid with his first goal as an Oiler. Hamblin, top of the left circle, knocked off his stick, Suzuki. Nudged back the other way twice by Ekholm, and Savard's got it. Rink wide, Armia's got to get off, and he did, avoiding the too many men on the ice call as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins took a skate and then fell down against Caulfield, awkwardly up the left-hand side. The puck spinning on edge and handled by Savard with 90 seconds to go in the period. Montreal still with a 1-0 lead. Caulfield, owner of the game's only goal, bangs it in.
This is an Alberta emergency alert issued by the Alberta Emergency Management Agency. This alert is in effect for Alberta. Extreme cold resulting in high power demand has placed the Alberta grid at a high risk of rotating power outages this evening. Albertans are asked to immediately limit their electricity use to essential needs only. Turn off unnecessary lights and electrical appliances. Minimize the use of space heaters. Delay use of major power appliances. Delay charging electrical vehicles and plugging in block heaters. Cook with microwave instead of stove. For more information, visit the Alberta Electric System Operator website.
Equalizer right here. McDavid is able to keep it in for now, but ultimately cleared by Jake Evans. That'll turn into an icing call. Remember, McDavid arrives at this game in the midst of yet another point streak. He's got 15 in his last 9, but it goes a lot deeper than that, doesn't it, Bob? How about his numbers over the last 20?
10 goals, 40 points, plus 20, 28 even strength points to lead the NHL in even strength points during that stretch. Which also tells you a little about the power play. That's what's scary. The Oilers are 9-0 in their last 9, and their power play hasn't been clicking at all.
Matheson will snap it up the left-hand side off the draw. This is going to be another icing against the Canadiens with 45 seconds now to play. And
they can keep doing this if they keep winning draws, and they're winning draws.
Draisaitl, McDavid, Hyman, Bouchard, and Ekholm remain out. Oilers have outshot the Canadiens 20-14, including 11-8 in this second period. Draisaitl against Jake Evans again. And this time, Draisaitl's going to be moved out, much to his chagrin. McDavid will take over. His next point will put him past Glenn Anderson on the Oilers' all-time list, behind only Gretzky, Curry, Messier. Off the draw, Monahan will shoot it in from center, and because the Oilers didn't have enough guys back, Skinner was forced to freeze it. And now, the Canadiens will get an offensive zone draw with 38 seconds to go in period 2. How about McDavid? before the age of 27. I mean, again, we see the same 3 or 4 names depending on the stat every time. Only guys with more points than McDavid turning 27, Bob.
Wayne Gretzky, Mario Lemieux, and Dale Hawerchuk.
Yeah, it's usually when you start compiling those lists, it's either Hawerchuk or Boston. You know, one of the two is in there. And in terms of youngest, it was Hawerchuk. Face-off win for Derek Ryan to the right of Stuart Skinner. Whistled up the right-hand side by Ceci. This may be icing, and getting back just in time to beat Fogle, who's disgusted, is Mike Matheson. 32 seconds left in the second period. And 1-0 our score. Should note a off-ice item. Leon Draisaitl voted in by the fans. One of the first guys in through the fan vote. Still an opportunity for maybe Zach Hyman, who's got 22 goals in his last 25 games, to get the nod. Suzuki against Derek Ryan. 1-0 Montreal. Final half minute here. Off the face-off. Suzuki is able to control from the corner. Couldn't get a shot away. Fogle will pick it up, and he'll hoist back through the middle. Matheson batted it down, didn't control. Evander Kane breaks loose. Right circle. Drag move, tried to backhand it in front. Matheson bottled that up. Kane stayed in the fight. Suzuki snatched it away. He's got an opportunity to skate it up the center with 8 seconds to go. Suzuki drops it off. Slafkovsky at the horn had it blocked. And the Oilers will trail 1-0 heading to the dressing room. And it's interesting, Montreal not having a great year, a game under 500, but the one thing the Canadiens can say is they are one of 2 National Hockey League teams that are perfect when leading after 2 periods. They're 10-0. The other team is Vancouver, and Rick Tocchet's club is an unbelievable 25-0 this year when leading after 2 periods. You talk about a front runner, doesn't get better than that. 25 of their 28 victories coming when leading after 2. Again, Bob, I think the storyline is similar. The positive for all Oiler fans is, despite a suspect performance tonight, Montreal's not pulling away. You win a period, you win the game, you get on the plane, you burn the video.
Well, that's one way to look at it. You got to win the third period, but Edmonton's got to increase the work rate. They got to increase the pace and the tempo. And unfortunately,
was it better in the second?
Marginally.
Yep.
It's and they haven't been sharp when they've had the opportunities. That's the other part of this. They passed off a couple times and taken themselves out of higher grade scoring locations on the ice.
It's kind of a game where Jay Woodcroft, Chris Knobloch's predecessor, he used to call it a slog. Is that the way you feel up here in the booth?
One thing about the Oilers this year, 1-0 in New York against the Rangers, one of the best teams in the league, four-goal third period.
Yep.
1-0 down against the Winnipeg Jets, and Winnipeg were able to tie it and ultimately win that game 3-1. So they've shown the ability to come back.
1-0 against Detroit on Thursday night. That was early in the third, but they were still able to extract the stuff of victory. And that's what you do when you're on a winning streak. You find ways to win.
Yeah.
Early in the season, the Oilers were finding a way to lose these games.
You know, Jack, for me, they just simply have not put enough to the net in terms of shot volume and in terms of min to the net and attacking that net and forcing. Montalban's looked awfully composed in between the pipe.
But has he had too easy of a night? Is that what you're saying?
Way too easy of a night. And the Oilers, I personally, I'm a little disappointed in what we've seen through 40 minutes. That said, you're on a 9-game heater. Find a way to win this game.
Edmonton trails 1-0. Cole Caulfield, the only goal of the hockey game, and it came a minute 43 in from Suzuki and Matheson. And remember, we're talking about a guy in Sam Montembeault who, he's not a rookie. I mean, he's, kind of a veteran guy. He's starting to establish himself as a regular NHL starter. This is his 123rd game in the league, and he's had a grand total of 1 National Hockey League shutout. We'll see what lies ahead. 20 minutes to play. Montreal 1, Edmonton no score. Next up, Reed Wilkins, Rob Brown. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, live from the Bell Center. The Oilers Radio Network.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many
tonight on Hockey Night? Well, in one of the most historic buildings in the National Hockey League against one of the most historic teams in the National Hockey League, the Edmonton Oilers have an opportunity to create history of their own. Should they win tonight on Hockey Night in Canada, it will establish a new franchise best for 10 consecutive victories. Welcome to the Oilers Plus live pregame show. I'm your host, Tony Barr. Thanks so much for making us a part of your Saturday evening. Live from the Bell Center, and you know the spotlight, well, they will be shining bright. And somehow, some way, it brings out the best out of the Oilers captain, Connor McDavid, who celebrates his 27th birthday. And take a look at this. Should McDavid register a point tonight on Hockey Night, it will be his 14th double-digit point streak so far already in his NHL career. That will tie him for third with Mario Lemieux, Super Mario, when it comes to most double-digit point streaks in all of NHL history. Simply generational stuff. And speaking of generational talents, now's my cue to turn it over to Cam Moon and Bob Stauffer, a couple of generational talents here in Edmonton. Cam? Great.
Thanks, Tony. Oilers taking on the Montreal Canadiens. Bob, it doesn't get any better than this. It's Saturday night. It's Montreal. The Edmonton Oilers, potential franchise record. They've got 9 straight wins, trying to get it to 10. It's Connor McDavid's birthday. He rolls into this one with a 9-game point streak. You've seen him since day one. Day one in 2015. Tell me about what you have seen from then to now in Connor McDavid.
Well, you know what's funny is, what was the line about Fight Club? We don't talk about Fight Club.
That's right.
And one thing we've learned about Connor McDavid over the years is he doesn't really like talking about himself, which is an admirable trait and one that would never cut it in radio. But I digress. The reality of the situation is we are watching the most advanced evolved player that's ever played in the National Hockey League. And the irony that Chris Knobloch is his head coach that's, assisted the Oilers, because Chris would credit his players, assisted the Oilers on these 8-9-game winning streaks, because I think back to when Chris Knobloch went into Erie in November of 2012, and I called him a couple days after he'd been there, and I said, how's it going? And he goes, I want to tell you the tale of two Connors. He goes, I have this kid named Connor McDavid. He's 15. Bob, he has a chance to be as good as anyone that's ever played the game. And then I got another guy named Connor Brown, and he is going to find a way to the NHL. Mark my word. And then the night Lucky Bill Scott ended up, in Toronto for the NHL draft lottery. Not that it left an indelible impression in anybody's mind, but it was April 18th, 2015. And I get a call that night from Chris Knobloch, and he says, Bob, there is going to be a time 4 or 5 years into Connor's career in Edmonton, you're going to say, I've never seen him make that play before, because he continuously and relentlessly works at his craft. The reality of the situation is the Oilers have had a pretty good team the last couple of years, and they've played 5 playoff series, got off to a poor start. The way the players of this and this group is now, they would take ownership for that, and subsequently we've seen the Oilers get back in a playoff spot well ahead of schedule that a lot of people saw possible. And part of it is we've just seen McDavid take his game to another level. Edmonton's 17-3, Cam, over the last 20 games. McDavid has 40 points, is plus 20, and has 28 even strength points during that time. And here's the scary stat for everybody watching right now. The power play isn't even cooking yet.
That's right.
In this recent 9-game winning streak, it's only at 17%. This is a power play that operated a double at last year. So we're watching a guy in his absolute prime. He's a great leader. There's never any drama around Connor McDavid or Leon Draisaitl, the 2 highest scoring players in the National Hockey League over the last 7 years. We're lucky to witness it. You and me are going to be retired one day, 25, 30 years. By then they'll have Tony Breyer either doing play-by-play or color. But, I'll be 82 at that point.
Okay.
But I am going to hang on that long, just so you know. Okay. And we're going to say, we watched as kids arguably the greatest player of all time in terms of Wayne Gretzky, and we are watching a player that we had the privilege of broadcasting that has a chance to be on that level. I mean, it's just spectacular on a nightly basis to watch.
And I think that tonight, because of the spotlight, the Hockey Night in Canada, here in Montreal, all of those things, this has the potential to be a pretty special night for them.
Well, I think this is the experience in Chicago is special. It starts with the anthem, but in Montreal, and just in terms of the Canadiens have always been an organization that defined class. Right? You read the stories. Don Cherry alluded to this in his book. The Canadiens had like 400 guys out of training camp, and everybody was treated the same way. It wasn't Jean Beliveau was treated one way, Don Cherry. So Montreal's it's a classy market when it comes to hockey. They're knowledgeable. They understand the game. They get nuance. Danny Gallivan was arguably the greatest play-by-play guy of all time, and he used to use the word crescendo. Well, this fan base understands that while they're watching a game. Like when McDavid winds it up, they know it, right? And they see it. They're not reacting late to it. They can see the play, and it just enhances the overall experience. If you don't have juice in your veins right now, man, you're doing the wrong thing.
Absolutely. And the food's really good here, too. So we're looking forward to it. Oilers, Canadiens. Tony, back to you.
All right, every time that Connor McDavid steps on the ice, it is a sight to behold, and what a sight it was for the Edmonton Oilers a couple of days ago, where Darnell Nurse notched the overtime winner, his 5th career extra hockey goal. He's been magnificent. Anytime the Oilers need him down the stretch, I had an opportunity to catch up with Darnell just a couple of hours ago. Take a look. Darnell, before we get to what should be an exciting matchup against the Montreal Canadiens, let's maybe take a look back to 48 hours ago. Of course, you notched the overtime winner, but maybe take us through the emotions throughout that hockey game before you notched your 6th of the season.
Yeah, I think, for us as a team, just to kind of stay patient to our game. Obviously, going into the third there, 0-0, easily could have tried to stretch out our game and force a few things. We didn't. We stuck to it, and even when they got that late bounce and were able to tie it up, we kind of just stuck to it and didn't give up anything else.
5 overtime winners for you so far in your career. What about the extra frame brings out the best out of DR25?
I'm not sure. I just try to get to the right spots. There's a lot of open ice out there and just skate, and I think it's creates a great opportunity to create plays, and whenever you get to those scoring areas, you just gotta let it go. And for me, I found myself in a good spot on a turned over puck and was able to capitalize.
Well, you guys are on the verge of potentially creating history tonight, the longest win streak in franchise history. If you guys get to 10, I know you're not looking that far ahead. You're focused on the start of the game, but just to be in that conversation with all the players that have come through this organization, what does that say about the group, Darnell?
Yeah, obviously, I think speaking for myself, it's a very special group, probably the most special group I've played with since being here, but our focus is on one game and winning tonight and coming into a building that'll be tough on a Saturday night to come out here with 2 points with, so I come with the right concerted effort from the puck drop.
How much do you enjoy playing at the Bell Center?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those places, you come to Montreal and, just screams NHL, when you're around the city, and, obviously there's been a lot of history within the organization that we're playing against tonight, and a lot of history within our own organization. So a night like this is always great, and it's nice to be on the East Coast playing always too.
Darnell, final question, and sorry to put you on the spot here. I'm going to ask you about your favorite Connor McDavid memory. Of course, your captain celebrating his 27th birthday. Do you have one that comes to mind?
On the ice, I think maybe when he came back from his injury in his first year. Scoring that incredible. I have first row seat skating up there with him and watching him just magically create a goal. So that's probably my favorite memory.
Darnell, thanks for your time and good luck tonight.
Thanks, Tony.
Thanks. Great job, Nurse. What an interview always, and what a man this guy is. Cam Moon joins us on the Oilers Plus Live pregame show, and Darnell Nurse played overtime hero in Detroit. I mean, what a hockey game that was. A little bit of an emotional roller coaster because the Oilers were playing well, and it seemed like they weren't going to beat Lyon all night, but eventually they get 3 past them, including the Nurse winner.
We've seen it a few times this year where the Oilers aren't having success early in a game, and they do a great job of just sticking to the program, and eventually things break their way. It took quite a while in Detroit. Good on him for staying with it. Good on Darnell Nurse. He gets his 6th goal of the year. It comes at a very opportune time for Edmonton, with it being the game winner. I am so impressed with Darnell Nurse's ability when he is up in the play to miss goaltenders with the puck. Some guys can find goaltenders with the puck. He is really good at just putting it past them. So his offensive prowess isn't something we talk about a lot, but it is significant.
What a finish from DR25, and what a delivery it has been from the Edmonton Oilers over the course of the last 20 games. Of course, you and I have already mentioned in this show that they're on the precipice of potentially making franchise history tonight. But 17-3, Cam, in their last 20. Are you surprised with the fact that the Oilers defense has been activating more, hence why we're seeing so much success as a collective from this group?
Well, I think it's been certainly a positive. What I've really liked about that activation is that it has been well timed, in that if you're jumping into the play at bad times and don't get the puck or the man, that's an odd man rush going the other way. We saw that happen plenty early in the season. We're not seeing it nearly as much anymore. So the timing of it from the Oilers' defense has been so much superior to the way it was. And whether that's just being more mentally aware, whether that's a little bit of game planning as far as defensive zone coverage goes with the team, maybe just a few little adjustments, whatever it may be. It's definitely worked better for the positive. And when you have defensemen jumping into the play and contributing offensively, whether that be Darnell Nurse in the overtime, or you see it with Evan Bouchard or Matthias Ekholm, that's really a good thing for Edmonton.
All right, let's take a look at the numbers during the course of this 9-game win streak. Of course, the record, a perfect 9-0. But look at the goals for and the goals against here. I mean, the goals for per game, 4.11. The goals against, 1.78. We're going to talk about Stuart Skinner a little bit later on in the show. But this offense has been firing on all cylinders. And if you're head coach Chris Knobloch, why fix what isn't broken, as we take a look at tonight's projected lineup. Now, notice the asterisks beside Ryan McLeod's name. Number 71 did not take part in the morning skate here in Montreal. So we have quite a few scenarios here isn't broken, as we take a look at tonight's projected lineup. Now, notice the asterisks beside Ryan McLeod's name. Number 71 did not take part in the morning skate here in Montreal. So we have quite a few scenarios here, Cam, because if McLeod is good to go, then we see no changes. Of course, you're going to have Stuart Skinner in net, as opposed to Calvin Pickard, who was actually pretty excellent.
Very good, yes.
On Thursday, I should say. But if McLeod isn't good to go, potentially Sam Gagner occupies the top 6 spot that he is currently slotted in. Or we might see the outside chance of Phil Kemp making his NHL debut.
Yes, Phil Kemp, currently up with the Edmonton Oilers from the Bakersfield Condors. It's his 4th year a pro. Hasn't played a game in the NHL. 7th round pick in 2017. Vincent Desharnais, 7th round pick in 2016. I think it would be amazing. I'm sure Phil Kemp would be super excited for a Saturday night hockey night in Canada game in Montreal to make his debut. That would be incredibly exciting. We won't know that until we get close to game time. So if it does come to pass that Phil Kemp gets into the game, I'm going to be fired up for him, just given the whole situation.
And Cam, it's not hard to get fired up in this building, is it?
No, that is true.
How is it one of the best places to watch an NHL game? Because we hear it from everybody. It's almost unanimous across the board that Bell Center is a place to watch a hockey game.
Well, it's the history. And it was the Montreal Forum before this building was built, and now the Bell Center. That the history of the franchise, the winning tradition that they had for many, many years, the knowledge of the fans, all of those things. You put it all together, and it makes it a lot of fun. So you can tell from the Oiler players after the morning skate today that this one has a little bit extra to it because it's Saturday night, it's Hockey Night in Canada. They only come here once.
and you get fired up for it. And, we heard Martin St. Louis talk about it too, that after the Montreal Canadiens morning skate, that every team that comes to play them gets all fired up because it's in Montreal. So they have to deal with it on the other side, that other teams get juiced up for the game because of the atmosphere.
Well, it's always fun whenever you have 20,000 plus showing up to your birthday party, because we are celebrating Connor McDavid's 27th birthday. We know he is excellent under the spotlight. Here is Zach Hyman and Stuart Skinner on their favorite
booth. The Edmonton Oilers trail this game by a count of 1-0, despite having outshot Montreal 21-15. The Canadiens looking to defeat the Oilers and record their first shutout in the process since a 4-0 win over Chicago nearly a year ago. That was the last time the Canadiens got a shutout, and McDavid swoops in on the attack. A shot from the point, and that was deflected away. McDavid to Hyman, and it was golfed over the net with Suzuki's stick, perhaps elevating that puck up and out of play. But a good shift for the Oilers in the first 30 seconds of this third period. Having said that, it remains 1-0 Montreal.
You can multitask. That is really important. You get an update in the game out of town?
No, I'm getting an update on the fact that I was just verifying that I was correct. Jake Allen got the last shutout for Montreal. Montembeaul's shutout did not come last year, but rather the 21-22 campaign. Canadiens, only goal of this game, a Cole Caulfield power play goal at 1:43 of the first period. Here's Kane looking for Foegele. Burrows his way short side, and it's tucked home for the equalizer. Leon Draisaitl has tied this game. 1-1. Draisaitl's 19th. Montembeault short side could not contain on the initial thrust by Foegele, and it was slammed home by Leon Draisaitl.
Well, it's a tough call here, tough decision for Martin St. Louis. That's a good goal.
Absolutely.
They're not going to challenge that.
It was balancing between the skate and the near post, and Draisaitl was able to dislodge and tuck that home 39 seconds into the third period. And it's a well-earned goal. The Oilers started with a good first shift, and then they tucked it home on the rebound on the second shift. Draisaitl from Foegele, and St. Louis knows
they're challenging.
I don't know what they're challenging.
They're challenging
goaltender interference.
Montreal is challenging the call on the ice for goalie interference prior to the goal.
I didn't think they would, because it looked to me.
I don't think this is going to count.
And if it doesn't count, this is the exact problem with video review here. Because the spirit of the rule is not for a goaltender 2 seconds afterwards who gets beat short side by Draisaitl as he taps it home on the Foegele net drive.
I think this is going to come back to he booted the stick.
Now because he booted the stick, there's a definite chance this gets pulled off the board.
He extended his right leg. That's something we couldn't see except from the reverse angle. You can't even see it when you show the short side angle.
Now I think it's coming off.
Now there is cause for concern, because on Fogel's follow-through, he kicks Montembeaul's stick out of position. And Montembeault can claim that he was going to jam that stick short side and keep the puck there. Now, he did reach for his glove, but the argument is he would have had more than just his glove to protect that puck.
Yeah, he would have been hugging the left post with his left pad there. I think this one's coming off, Jack.
You know what? I'm through guessing, because I've started to be on the low side of 50%.
This is the only league you find where they do everything possible to take offense off the board, Jack. Every other league, like the NFL's opened offense totally up.
It's just the fact that Foegele kind of extended that right leg to make sure the stick.
And that's what they're going to call. You watch. They'll call it, and we'll see. Montreal still up 1-0 here. Two good shifts for the Oilers to start this third period.
Absolutely. If it counts, it's Draisaitl's 20th from Warren Foegele, 38 seconds in.
And what did Connor say the other night in Chicago? If it takes you longer, well, this one's taking 90 seconds. I have a pretty good feeling it's coming off.
Here's the announcement from Francis Chiron.
Upon video review, has been determined that there was no goaltender interference.
There it is. It counts.
Wow. That I did not think would happen.
And as a result, it's going to be a delay of game call for the erroneous challenge, and Montreal could suddenly see its 1-0 lead dissipate into a 2-1 deficit.
Jack, I got to tell you, I have some empathy for Martin.
Draisaitl to Connor McDavid. Bouchard in the high slot. McDavid taps her over to Draisaitl deep in the face-off circle to drive Bouchard, and a save made by Montembeault. A lunging attempt by Jake Evans didn't get it cleared. McDavid twists it back to Bouchard in the high slot. Nugent-Hopkins to McDavid. Bouchard faking the one-timer. Minute 15 and the penalty being served by Gallagher. Nugent-Hopkins to Zach Hyman. Dishing off. Pass through the wickets of McDavid. Draisaitl was able to keep the zone. Bouchard, beautiful play at the blue line to keep it for McDavid. Down low, Nugent-Hopkins short side and a save. Montembeault, hard rim by Armia, and that will chase Edmonton back into its own zone. Evander Kane will get a second assist on the scoring play. It's just his 5th point in the last 17 games. Draisaitl from Bouchard. Drag move to the right corner. In front. McDavid to the net. Save made Montembeault. And another penalty coming. Up the left-hand side.
It's on McDavid.
For goaltender interference. .201 having elapsed here in the third. And Montreal skate 4-on-4 for the next 38 seconds.
2 minutes, goaltender interference.
There it is, the goaltender interference call. So the Oilers unable to cash in on their second power play of the game, and instead Montreal will get 4-on-4 plus a minute 22 on the man advantage with an opportunity to regain the lead.
So who didn't shoot the puck in either of the two power plays?
Bouchard.
Comes a point here where
he's got a cannon. He's got 9 goals, tied for third amongst the league's defensemen. Draisaitl from Foegele and Kane at 38 seconds of the third period. That's tied the game, and it gives Leon Draisaitl yet another 20-goal campaign. He has rattled off 8 in a row of at least 20. Josh Evans.
They've been deacon this.
Yeah, a little disgusted with being waved out of the circle.
All game.
Ullinen against Evander Kane. 2 minutes gone by in the third. Kane wins the faceoff. Evan Bouchard. Ullinen on him. Eventually escapes. No, he turned it over. Evans a wrist shot and a save made by Stuart Skinner, who again has not allowed Montreal to extend. Foegele a 2-on-1. Wrist shot off the post from the right circle. That's the second post Edmonton has hit tonight. Bouchard hit one earlier. Jake Evans inexplicably passed a wide open shot, turned it over, and Ekholm was the Oilers about to go down a man. Kane to Foegele. Pulls up top of the right circle. Short-handed situation now in effect. Bouchard lines it up. Now he fires, and a save made by goaltender Sam Montembeault. The Oilers will change, get their penalty killers out. It's brought to you by Napa Auto Parts. And the Oilers must come up with a kill here to preserve the 1-1 tie. 3 minutes into the final period. Matheson kicks it back. Montreal's only goal came tonight on the power play. Caulfield scored it, moves it to Matheson, left point, and then the second time Matheson could not handle it. Connor Brown streaking in, shorthanded, breakaway, backhander denied. Montembeault comes up with a save and denies Brown his first goal. Caulfield in over the line. Held, dished, Suzuki, a wide open net. Monahan tipped it off the side of the net. Unbelievable for John Monahan, a two-time 30-goal scorer. Just didn't get a clean grip on that stick. It flexed and he pushed it wide. That was wide open. Caulfield wrist shot left circle, and that stayed out. Suzuki a drive-by screen. Monahan, Slavkovsky a blast. Caulfield denied by Skinner. Skinner seems determined. Suzuki, Monahan rolled it in front. Desharnais cleared to the half wall. Stepping out of the box is McDavid. Nugent-Hopkins gives it to him. McDavid, Nugent-Hopkins cross ice, and that disappears into the corner. Ekholm on the puck for Edmonton. Wraparound tipped and then slid just wide by Nugent-Hopkins. Grabs the puck in the corner. Ekholm and the man in the middle trying to hit Leon Draisaitl. Just off the mark, Caden Gooley able to brush that puck off the boards and back inside the Edmonton line. 4.5 gone by in the third period. Both teams with some tremendous chances. A little give and go. McDavid and Hyman, the return pass picked off. Harvey Pinard centers, slid on net, and a save made by Stuart Skinner. Bob, he's locked in. We said it early. Stuart Skinner, throughout this winning streak, has just kept opponents at bay whenever the Oilers have fallen behind, and now McDavid has drawn an interference call. Caden Gooley will touch up, defending against Leon Draisaitl, and the Oilers will be right back to the Atco power play for a third time tonight. Interference, Jake Evans. At live speed, I thought it was a good call.
Well, Connor maybe helped sell it a little bit, but why not? But man, oh man.
I think that's interference.
That's interference. They're going to start the second unit power play here? No.
McDavid, Draisaitl, Hyman, Bouchard, and Nugent-Hopkins.
Glenn Gulletson having a conversation, but not with the entire power play in it. So you got to win a draw to start the PP here for Edmonton.
One for their last 22 on the road. But again, it's not how many you score, it's when you score. The Oilers could certainly utilize one here for their first lead of the night. Face-off win, Mitchell Stevenson, and it's ripped down the right-hand side. Mitchell Stevens, excuse me. A clear by David Savard and a leave for Skinner by Bouchard through the middle, and somehow that worked out. Hyman, though, dumped to the ice. A hard check by Matheson. Won a battle in the corner, then turned it over. Bouchard on to McDavid, heading for the net right around David Savard. Left the puck behind, then regained and sent it out for Bouchard. McDavid, right circle, waiting. Tried to shoot it. It was deflected right to Draisaitl. Coming off the right half boards, he'll give it back to McDavid. Loading up. Sending it out to Bouchard. Draisaitl and Hyman each with 8 power play goals this year. McDavid bumped off the puck, regained, used the screen from Draisaitl, and then fed him from the goal line. Draisaitl tried to snap it off Savard and in. Kick behind the net back to McDavid. Loading up, high slot, faking, dishing Nugent-Hopkins from the goal line. Nugent-Hopkins. And a pass that eludes McDavid. Oh, wow. Oilers disjointed, but nevertheless have forged a 1-1 tie. Draisaitl's 20th, the equalizer. McDavid hustles down the middle of the ice to Leon Draisaitl. Heading for the net, curling to the right-hand corner, waiting. Looking for McDavid, he's got him left circle. Draisaitl, and a great poke check. Prevented a potential one-timer. Caden Gooley with a good read. Winning a battle from Hyman was Kovacevic. Now the Canadiens shorthanded and not looking for the puck was Sean Monahan, who missed a sitter earlier that could have regained the lead for the Canadiens. 15 seconds left on the man advantage. Nugent-Hopkins ambles his way to center. McDavid down low, broken up. Top unit has stayed out for the entire 2 minutes here. McDavid, snapshot, deflected, wound up in the corner. Draisaitl on the puck for Edmonton. Protects. McDavid. Down low. Hyman. Waiting. Couldn't pull the trigger. Wrapped up Kovacevic. Onto the ice. Jake Evans Evans forces it back to center. Canadiens will get a change. Darnell Nurse shoots it in from center ice, and Montembeault, a jittery save, reversed over to Matheson. He'll snap it up the boards, and the Canadiens will knock it down, and a hand pass whistled. Stevens ruled to have played that puck outside his own blue line. I think that's another break for Edmonton, and the Oilers will get an offensive zone face-off when we come back. 12:38 to play in the third. Very similar to Tuesday night. The Oilers have the advantage on the shot clock. They haven't been at their best, but they're in position to extend the winning streak. We are tied at 1. Third period continues in just a moment. For the Oilers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
McDavid trying to come in with speed. Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores!
Hey, Edmonton. Rogers wants you to stay connected to your Edmonton Oilers.
Connor McDavid! Fantastic!
Catch every goal on Canada's largest and most reliable 5G network with Rogers 5G mobile plans. To learn more, visit Rogers.com/5G. That's Rogers.com/5G.
Did you know the RCMP polices over 99% of Alberta's landscape? From the oil sands to the Rockies to the prairies, the RCMP has a province covered. Providing policing services to more than 1,700 communities and with over 150 career specializations, the Alberta RCMP has something to fit everyone's goals and lifestyles. Visit rcmpcareers.ca and take the next step towards your career with the Alberta RCMP. A message from the Government of Canada.
NHL action is heating up with an ultra-cool game day experience at the Canadian Ice House. Pregame with us for great food and drink with an amazing wall of sight and sound. Hands down the most TVs to catch all the hits, the goals, and the game day glory. Enjoy $1 off tankards of Coors Light and Molson Canadian every Oilers game day where NHL hockey lives at the Canadian Ice House.
You're listening to Oilers Hockey on 630 CHED and on the Radio Player Canada app.
Derek Ryan, an offensive zone face-off out there with Janmark and Kane. We are tied at 1. Draisaitl, the equalizer, first minute of the third period. Cole Caulfield, a power play goal for Montreal in the first 2 minutes of the first period. And that's where we sit, a 1-1 stalemate. And this one, well, you're just going to have to find a way to extract 2 points. Far from perfect. Jordan Harris will bump it in. But long winning streaks, they're not all beauties. This one has been far from that tonight. But the Oilers have fought back and tied it. Kovacevic, a shot pinballed around. Skinner makes the save, poised as can be, and he'll flop on it. 12:06 to go in the third. Nurse and Monahan, and I got to say, and it's easy with Edmonton's offensive firepower to occasionally overlook, but Stuart Skinner has been Edmonton's best player on this road trip.
Yep.
Very good in Chicago on Tuesday.
And they've needed him to be good.
And I would say, even though the Oilers have a 29-18 edge in shots on net tonight, Montreal's had some good looks. Don't let that shot clock fool you. I agree with Bob. Sam Montembeault has not had to be spectacular at all tonight. Face off left side of Skinner, and Draisaitl lost the draw to Jake Evans. David Savard centering pass, and Ekholm had Harvey Pinard tied up. Sent in deep by James Hamblin. Connor Brown in on the forecheck against Savard. Taken by Hamblin. He got blasted by Evans, who backhanded it up to Gallagher. Could not go anywhere against Kulak, and then second effort is able to muscle a puck up the boards in front of the Oiler bench. Chopped back in by Hamblin. Struble for Montreal on the puck to Savard. Up the boards, Gallagher. Snapped it rink wide for Suzuki left wing. Suzuki wants the Canadiens to get a change here, but he was not yet at the red line. And when his pass is off the mark, it turns into an icing. Now, they're going to talk about it, and we may have another face-off at center, but I don't think they were watching him. He was not at the red line, and I actually think this is a pretty good call.
So Fogle hit the post after his net drive created the goal for Edmonton. It's been one of the better Oilers.
As an assist tonight giving him 7 goals, 21 points on the year. Now Draisaitl against Suzuki. Won the face-off cleanly. Matheson threw it around the boards, and you've got Caulfield. Bumped by Ceci, and now offside, whistled against Edmonton as they ruled it crawled outside the zone. 11:14 to play in the third period. The Oilers and the Canadiens. Montreal, and we've talked about it all game long, just does not have the ability to pull away from clubs. They haven't had it.
You said that last year, and they won here 6-2. So, but they're down 4 or 5. 4 pretty good forwards. That's changed the complexion of their teams, yeah?
Well, they were down more last year.
Yes.
They led the league in man games lost. In fact, they've set an NHL record the last 2 years for man games lost. They haven't had a top scorer in the league, top 10 scorer in the league since 1986. They haven't had a 40-goal scorer in the league since 1994. Lead pass, Armia. I'm not going to bring up who that last 40-goal scorer was. Perhaps too painful for Oilers fans. Wow. A snapshot wide from the right circle as he approached. Jordan Harris threw it back behind the net. Sean Monahan tried to feather it in front. Armia went down, penalty coming. And Draisaitl is saying Armia sold that one, and now he's going to skate over and let Armia think. Draisaitl's furious with Armia right now, but Fogle will go to the box, and with 10:48 to go in the third period, the Canadiens back to the power play.
2 minutes for tripping.
Vinny Damphousse, of course, the last Montreal 40-goal man. And now the Canadiens will line up.
And again, Monahan against Derek Ryan to start this power play for Montreal.
It was Monahan who had an open net on the last Montreal power play and couldn't finish. Ryan, Nugent Hopkins, Nurse, and Ceci, the 4 Edmonton skaters, 21,105 crammed into the Bell Center. And a lot of noise going around as Monahan pulls it back to Mike Matheson. Moves it to Suzuki, top of the right circle, defended by Nurse and Nugent Hopkins on that side. Caulfield left circle. He's got the only Montreal goal tonight. Floats it back to Monahan. Curled to Matheson. High slot, Caulfield. Snapped across Suzuki. Wrist shot blocked by Nurse. Suzuki pursues the rebound, keeps the zone. Matheson. Caulfield left circle. Matheson. Suzuki right circle. Matheson high slot. Snapshot save. Skinner rebound. Caulfield tried to go back door. It was tipped. Suzuki to Matheson. Suzuki right face off dot. Juggled. Held. Threw it around to Caulfield. He'll smack it around the boards. Slavkovsky lets it go through twice. Comes back to Caulfield, top of the left circle. Steps up, shoots. Blocker save, Skinner. Rebound, Slavkovsky. Boy, Caulfield has a heater of a wrist shot. Suzuki. Slavkovsky. Caulfield. Inside. Wrist shot. Monahan denied. Another big save, Stuart Skinner. Suzuki. Caulfield. High slot. Can't pull the trigger. Matheson. Montreal power play at 45 seconds. This is a Napa Auto Parts penalty kill for the Oilers. Monahan, Suzuki, Monahan for the goal line. Suzuki right corner. Still waiting. Same players have been out for 1:30. Slavkovsky cross ice. That was tipped. Caulfield will maintain the zone. Feathered across. Matheson turned it over. Ryan, the length of the ice clear. Montreal's top unit will change. And the Oilers penalty killers again coming through in the clutch. Down to 10 seconds on the PK. Joshua Wong, his NHL debut. He'll chip it in. Ullinen wrestled to the ice by Matthias Ekholm. Played a hard game behind the net. Puck rattles around. No helmet. Having to come off is Joshua Wong. He sprints for the bench as the Oilers come up ice left to right. Connor Brown unable to beat 2 men at the Montreal blue line. Just with a flick of the wrist puts it down low. Now coming off that successful kill, here's Brown with a tip on a lateral from Ullinen, and that floats into the waiting glove with Montembeault prepared, and he'll freeze it with 8:26 to play in the third period. Time to take another break from the Bell Center in Montreal. The game is tied at 1. Caulfield for the Canadiens. Draisaitl for the Oilers. Stretch drive straight ahead. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
Did you know that there are 9 Napa Auto Parts stores serving the greater Edmonton area and have been doing so for more than 50 years? Since Napa first opened in Edmonton, the community has grown and vehicles have changed, but you can always trust Napa Auto Parts to provide you with the expert know-how and the best vehicle parts. And if that isn't enough, every time you visit a Napa Auto Parts store when you present your AMA card, you receive an additional 10% discount on all retail parts and accessories. Visit your local Napa Auto Parts store for more offers and expert know-how. Napa Auto Parts is a proud fan of the Edmonton Oilers.
From the biggest stadiums to the coziest holes in the wall. From house parties to porch hangs to pride celebrations. From your favorite fuzz shop to your local Indian spot. From noodle bars to sports bars to salsa bars. There's a Molson with your name on it. Canadian Ultra XL. Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
When it comes to tough, there's no second best. It's why we built the 2023 Ford F-150 with available Power Boost full hybrid V6 engine and class-exclusive Pro Power onboard. If you want the truck built with power, capability, and innovation, there's no substitute. There's only F-150. Right now, get 0.99% APR purchase financing for up to 60 months on select 2023 F-150 models. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca for details.
Listen on air, online, and on the Radio Player Canada app.
This is the Oilers Radio Network.
McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman, Ekholm, Bouchard. That's your Edmonton 5 with 8:26 to play in the third period. And a face-off win for McDavid. Dishes, Nugent Hopkins fanned on it. Had a good look in the high slot, couldn't finish. Suzuki ahead for Monahan. Floated back behind the Oiler net. Ekholm up the boards, not out. Caden Gooley will swing it down low. Protecting Suzuki. Shoved against the boards by Bouchard. And McDavid with an outlet to Zach Hyman. Oilers come up ice left to right, looking for their first lead of the night. Hyman, button hooks in the high slot. He'll maintain, give it up. Ekholm, shot redirected wide. Rebound, Hyman. Thought McDavid was going to play that puck. He'll play it himself back to Ekholm. Snap to Bouchard, and now Ekholm left point shot. Deflected over the net. Setting the screen in front, Nugent Hopkins won a battle. Caulfield shook off Hyman initially and was able to drag that puck back to center ice. 7.5 minutes to play in regulation. The Oilers with a win would set a new club record with 10 consecutive victories and tie a franchise mark with their 8th straight win on the road. So 2 records in play tonight. Bouchard. They hand off. Leon Draisaitl scampers to center. He'll chip and charge his way into the offensive zone. Behind the net for Kane. Now Draisaitl protects in his feet for Warren Foegele. CC across, Nurse. His shot. Save made. Montembeault. Rebound. Foegele put it in the blue paint. And it's still loose. And finally grabbed by Foegele out in the left corner. Fogel's got it back. Wrist shot blocked. Foegele feeling it right now on this shift. And Montreal just hanging on. Foegele tried to saucer it across. Gallagher with an alert play and a soft chip by Savard pushes Edmonton back inside the blue line. Without a point from Connor McDavid this year, the Oilers are 1-5. He's not on the score sheet. He's got a point in 9 straight games, and now there's an icing call against Edmonton up the right wing boards.
Well, the Oilers were trying to execute a trade, and Darnell Nurse threw a grenade down the right side, and Warren Foegele wasn't able to negotiate contact. Now an important draw for Hamlin out against Monahan.
Monahan between Waugh and Armia. Hamlin won it cleanly back to Darnell Nurse. Left-hand side slugged out by Foegele. Adam Ernie bumps it in deep as Foegele changes. Canadiens with a puck in their own end. Jordan Harris will slide it over to Kovacevic. Up the middle, missed everybody. That'll be icing against the Canadiens, who are outmanned, but they've played hard tonight. They've mucked it up. Edmonton has not been sharp, but the Oilers are still lurking. It's a 1-1 tie with 6:14 to go in the third period. And now with the icing call, Chris Knoblauch goes right back to McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Hyman. Remember, Edmonton does not play again until Tuesday. And with 11 forwards dressed tonight, why not? Off the draw. Bouchard a blast and a save. Montembeault. Good location by the Montreal goaltender. There'll be no shutout for him tonight, but he's played well. 32 saves. And a face-off coming to his right. Suzuki will take the draw against Connor McDavid. Nugent Hopkins and Ekholm lined up in the slot. Hyman and Bouchard on the left wing boards. Face-off win for Suzuki. Matheson, fanned initially, decides to reverse back to Caden Gooley. Caden Gooley playing on his offside, it should be mentioned, to accommodate the speed necessary to shut down the top line. And indeed, Edmonton's top line not on the score sheet yet. Caulfield with a steal on Ekholm, down low off a dump-in. But Ekholm was able to recover, push it up to Hyman, and now the Oilers have something brewing. Hyman, deep right corner offensive zone. Snatched away and cleared. Good work by Mike Matheson. Again, most people would tell you Montreal, the team MVP, at the halfway point, Mike Matheson.
Well, unfortunately for Hyman, he got picked on the play by Francis Chiron. That's part of what negated that chance for a surge for the Oilers.
5:20 to go in the third period. Down the middle, Montembeault to play the puck. Got it past Hamblin up the right-hand side, out of the zone. Kulak will settle. Desharnais ahead. Adam Ernie pursuing. The forecheck and a hard hit. And he got a healthy piece that time of Jaden Stubble. Brought up the left-hand side, Gallagher. And eventually, once more, it'll be Struble. Sending it in deep for the Canadiens. Desharnais down the middle. Beautiful pass. Here's Janmark cutting to his right. Tried to load up and again fan. Edmonton just not sharp on pucks tonight. Armia dug it out of the corner. And now Harvey Pinard in from the right-hand side, pestered by Draisaitl. Armia in the slot, Harvey Pinard, an off-balance shot from 30 feet. No problem for Stuart Skinner. Makes another save, his 22nd of the evening. Draisaitl, a dart to Evander Kane, left wing at the Montreal line. He'll send it behind the net, fished out by Jordan Harris. Kovacevic trying to skate away from Kane, and his pocket pick wide open, and Draisaitl banged it off the side of the net. I thought there might have been a trip on Kane, but no penalty was called. Looked like Kane got yanked down. Here's Draisaitl dishing off to Cody Ceci. Across to Nurse. His shot floats toward the net. Montembeault got a piece of that with a blocker. Fogel back to Nurse. Shoots again. Redirected. High up on the plexi. Ceci will challenge. A leaping play made on the puck by Monahan, but he put too much on it. There's another unforced error. They're going to wave off icing. Stunned by that. They waved it off, and Edmonton will just regroup. You're the anguish moan of my broadcast partner.
It almost gave him a scoring opportunity, Jack.
Here's Hyman. He'll shovel it in deep. Gooley back to get it. Puck squirts off the back of the net in front. Nugent Hopkins couldn't find it. And the Oilers continue to have trouble point blank tonight. Evan Bouchard up the left-hand side. Nugent Hopkins, drag move, hits Hyman, loading and firing, and a glove save made by goaltender Sam Montembeault with 3:05 to play in the third. Edmonton shot accumulation now 38, including 17 in this third period. One has gone in. Draisaitl the equalizer. 3 minutes and change. Left third period. Tied at 1. Down the stretch with Four Dealers NHL Hockey. The Oilers Radio Network.
MIC is a leader in medical imaging and the official medical imaging provider to the Edmonton Oilers. Make MIC your choice. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, the game doesn't stop for injury. MIC's sports medicine imaging specialists can help you get back in the game with a timely and expert diagnosis. Go where the pros go. For a location near you, visit mic.ca.
When you play the largest 50-50 in sports, everybody wins. Your support makes all of Oil Country a better place. A place of kindness, caring, and compassion. Uplifting those in need, changing lives forever. The largest 50-50 pot in professional sports is currently growing by the second. Get your tickets now at EdmontonOilers.com and help change lives today. Maybe even your own.
AGLC license number 645766.
Get ready to live sky high. Sky Signature Suites offers remarkable units for rent featuring sophisticated floor plans, designer finishes, and breathtaking views. Experience resort-like amenities including a full-time concierge, yoga and fitness studios, golf simulator, plus indoor and outdoor lounges for you to live your best life. Visit SkySignatureSuites.com and make your home high above the ordinary.
All games, all seasons. You're listening to the Oilers Radio Network.
Edmonton, 9 straight wins, 4 of them by 1 goal. And the Oilers likely in another 1-goal game situation tonight. Montreal's played the most in the league. 24 of its 41 have been decided by 1 goal. They've split them down the middle, winning 12, losing 12. Oilers have won 7, lost 4 in the 1-goal scenario. Off the draw in the Montreal zone, Slafkovsky overran it initially against McDavid. Nugent Hopkins worked his way in on Gouli. Eventually, Gouli backhanded it right into the tape of Bouchard, and his blast from center ice is deflected high and floats out of play into the 8th row, where a fan makes a lunging grab.
Looked like Devon White.
And with 2:44 to go in the third period, well, I mean, we are in Montreal, so maybe Ellis Valentine.
Was he known for his defensive prowess?
He was known for a lot of things.
Cromartie, Valentine, The Rock, Tim Raines.
They had a good time.
Rodney Scott at second.
That was a talented club.
Gary Carter, the kid.
The Hawk, Andre Dawson.
Loved him. Larry Parrish. Who was the undisciplined guy who always flipped his helmet back after every missed swing? Third baseman.
Up the right-hand side. Oh, jeez. Third base, Tim Wallach. Tim Eli Wallach.
Yes.
And then you had Chris Spire.
Head short. All right, we
sent in deep. Jordan Harris back behind the net. We've lost all of our audience. Controlled for a moment by Monahan and then stripped away. Here's Matthias Janmark looking for Connor Brown. Couldn't find the puck in his skates as he came in over the blue line, and the Canadiens put it off the glass and out of play. So the face-off will remain in the Montreal zone, and here comes Leon Draisaitl, Evander Kane, and Warren Foegele. 2:12 to go in regulation. The game tied at 1 as Edmonton completes a 3-game roadie with 5 of its next 6 in the friendly confines of Rogers Place. Oilers 11-9 on the road. Montreal just 8 wins in its 21 home games. Off the draw, lofted back through center. Canadiens won the face-off and now win the puck as Brendan Gallagher gets it in deep. Darnell Nurse up the boards for Evander Kane. Jake Evans got a piece, but Leon Draisaitl takes control. Centers for Ceci. His shot forced wide. And did Ceci draw a penalty?
He did.
Hooking against likely Harris. With 1:49 to go in the third period, Edmonton can win it right here, right now on the power play. Cody Ceci
activating
Montreal
him.
number 11. 2-minute
Oh, it's Gallagher, his second.
Well, that's a penalty on Brendan. He was water skiing off of Cody Ceci right in on the hands. That's a penalty all day.
And now Edmonton to the power play.
Well, now you got to win a face-off. The Oilers have not been great face-offs in this game, Jack.
Well, again, Montreal's a top 5 club in that department. So it's the one advantage, as you pointed out early, for the Canadiens in this head-to-head matchup. Jake Evans against Leon Draisaitl. McDavid and Hyman in the slot. And the Atco power play 5-some rounded out by Nugent Hopkins and Bouchard. Face-off won cleanly by Draisaitl. Bouchard, Nugent Hopkins, snapshot save. Montembeault, rebound high in the air. Nugent Hopkins able to take it away. Matheson could not carve it out of there. Here's Bouchard stepping up high slot. Moves it to Leon Draisaitl. Loading up, firing, and a save made by Montembeault. Oilers closing in on 40 shots on net. Plus 16 on the shot clock. Tied at 1 on the scoreboard. Draisaitl right circle. Put it across. It is indeed the 12th time this year Oilers have 40-plus. McDavid shot wide. Rebound sent up ice by Armia and out of the zone. The top unit will stay out there for the Edmonton Oilers. Atco power play to win it with 1 minute to go in the third period. Bouchard to Connor McDavid. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins across the line. Left half boards McDavid. Cuts behind the net. Playing on his 27th birthday. Cross-ice pass. Deflected high off the plexi. Here's Nugent-Hopkins. Draisaitl. Nugent-Hopkins. Bouchard. 45 seconds. His shot deflected. Draisaitl had it knocked away. Bouchard looking for McDavid. Does he have a birthday goal in store? Nugent-Hopkins. Fanned. Bouchard. Back to McDavid. Top of the left circle. Here's Nugent-Hopkins in front, and that one off the toe of Hyman's stick. Shoveled down the ice by Armia. Edmonton's top unit will stay out for the final 15 seconds of regulation. One last chance for the Oilers to win it within the first 60. Here's McDavid over the line. Hyman had it knocked away. Draisaitl will move it back to Connor McDavid. One-timer Bouchard save Montembeault. 3 seconds to go. Bouchard fires again wide. Rebound Draisaitl and the horn goes. And Montreal has earned a point for the tie in regulation, and you know what? I can't begrudge the Canadiens. They probably deserve at least a point in this game, even though they've been outshot badly, especially here in the third period, where the Oilers matched their 40-minute totals of 21 shots with 21 in the third period. The Canadiens with just 8. 42-23 for the game, but we've settled nothing. 1-1 through 60. Overtime on deck. This is Ford Dealers NHL Hockey, the Oilers Radio Network.
The highest standards of broadcasting. It's what we strive for every minute of the day. To live up to your expectations is our goal, our obligation. And as members of the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council, our promise is to be accountable to you, our listeners. Have a comment to make about our programming? Visit cbsc.com to find information on the council and its codes. A message from the Canadian Association of Broadcasters and 630 CHED.
You're listening to Oilers Hockey on 630 CHED and on the Radio Player Canada app.
Oh, yeah. We're live with overtime. Edmonton 1, Montreal 1. The Oilers 2-1 in overtime, including a 3-2 victory on Thursday night where Darnell Nurse won it a minute 20 in off a dreadful turnover from Lucas Raymond. Nurse with the winner. Tonight, well, Cole Caulfield scored a minute 43 in from Suzuki and Matheson on the power play. Montreal held that lead until the first minute of the third period when Draisaitl tied it on a goal that was challenged. Fogle and Kane with the helpers. Montreal lost the challenge but was able to weather a handful of Edmonton power plays in the third to take this game into an extra session, where, again, the Oilers are still on the power play for 11 seconds. So we'll start 4-on-3 and then briefly 4-on-4 until there's a whistle. Monahan, Gooley, and Matheson. Monahan won the draw. Matheson probably could have taken a skate behind his own net. Instead, just fired it up the left wing boards. Gallagher poised to come out of the box as Ekholm approaches center ice. McDavid charges in right-hand side, looking to win the game for Edmonton in overtime. Draisaitl lost the handle. Gallagher, who's taken a couple of penalties, not been a great night for him. And he had it poked loose from behind by Draisaitl, and Bouchard will reset the table for the Oilers. 30 seconds into overtime. Ekholm in, and an offside whistled against Edmonton. You don't see that hardly ever from the Oilers.
You don't see Ekholm out a lot here, so we're going to see Nugent-Hopkins and I think Hyman together with Nurse as we get our first 3-on-3 session. The Oilers 0 for 4 on the power play.
Montreal, by the way, 5-2 in overtime this year. They have 9 wins in extra time, only 8 in regulation time.
Caulfield's been a sniper for them in overtime.
Suzuki off the face-off, able to win it. And this is where that face-off category is so important. Possessions in OT.
53% for the Canadiens going into overtime.
Hyman, Nugent Hopkins, and Nurse, the three skaters. For Montreal, Caulfield, Suzuki, and Matheson. And it's Caulfield breaking free through the middle of the ice, but he's got no one with him. And he realizes that, reverse pivots back to center, and he'll skate off some more time before handing off to Nick Suzuki. A reload for the Canadiens. Suzuki now on the attack. Drop pass Caulfield. Flicks it over Matheson. Waiting, circling, wraparound, and a save made by Skinner. And here come the Oilers with numbers the other way. Nugent Hopkins dashing down the right-hand side. What about the recovery speed for Matheson as he disrupted and eventually freed it up for Suzuki. Fired it up the boards too far for Caulfield. Matheson couldn't keep it alive, and we've got another penalty coming on Mike Matheson. And the Oilers will go right back to the man advantage. Matheson can't believe it.
2 minutes, high stick.
A high stick. He originally tried to wrap it around. Stuart Skinner has been stellar tonight with 23 saves. And not much you could do. Matheson knew it right away. I mean, a high stick is probably one of the few calls you're going to see in overtime. And now the Oilers once again.
Well, look who they got off the ice, too. Their best defenseman.
Draisaitl, McDavid, Nugent Hopkins, and Bouchard to win the game in overtime. 4-on-3 off the draw. You've got Bouchard off a face-off win for Draisaitl. McDavid on his birthday. Regrouping left circle. Dishing off a skate. Bouchard taps it over to Leon Draisaitl. Fired back to McDavid. He'll switch positions with Bouchard. Take it to the top of the right circle. Now Bouchard left circle loading up. McDavid. Draisaitl. McDavid. Hearing it from the crowd. 21,000 plus. McDavid. One-timer. Bouchard score! Evan Bouchard blasts home the winner. Edmonton 2. Montreal 1 in overtime.
You said it earlier, Jack. It's all about when you get one. And the Oilers got one, and Bouchard bombed one.
10 in a row, a club record. Edmonton, 10 straight wins, 8 straight on the road. That ties the franchise mark for most road victories. And the Oilers have now done something that no previous incarnation, including the team that won 5 cups in a 7-year period, has ever done, and that's win 10 straight hockey games within the course of a regular season. They do it on Evan Bouchard's power play blast from Connor McDavid, 2:01 into overtime.
Well, I mean, the Oilers fired a ton. Laid out the arsenal here in the overtime, in third period and overtime, and they get the win. 10 straight, Jack. Power play comes through in a 4-on-3. Montembeault was terrific, but Edmonton gets the victory.
I think you're burying the lead a little bit. I said it earlier.
Stuart Skinner.
He wasn't going to give up another goal, and he didn't. He was just rock solid, allowing his team to kind of shake off whatever it was that ailed them. The Oilers fought themselves, fought the puck at times tonight. But again, they're not all pretty. When you win 10 in a row, they're not all works of art. This most certainly was not. But while it may not be a Picasso, it's an Oiler victory that lifts Edmonton to 23-15-1 on the season. Sam Montembeault, a well-deserved cheer with 40 saves. Stuart Skinner set to join us on our post-game show. And Stuart, I'm gonna start with, this was a game very similar, I thought, Tuesday night in Chicago, where you'd have to be good tonight and allow your club to work itself into the hockey game. As you saw it unfold in front of you, did you see your team slowly get better as the night progressed?
Yeah, I think, I appreciate that. First of all, it was